Is Sportsvisions 92.1. You are listening to the Sportsvisions Morning Show, brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services and the Finley Firm. Here's DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Good Monday morning and welcome everybody to another edition of the Sportsvisions Morning Show. I am Walter and Betty Jones's baby boy, Daryl DJ Jones. Coach Bush's grandson, the thrifter, we call him, Thrift Barringer. Good morning. How are you?
Great morning, DJ. Hope you had a great weekend. And how about those Falcons, baby?
My goodness. How about those Falcons? We'll talk about them in just a little bit. And, of course, the Swiss Army knife, Richard Holdridge in the building. What's up? Good morning. How are you, sir?
Good morning, DJ. How about those Niners?
Yes, sir. How about Michael Williams?
Oh, there we go.
He put pressure on that last sack.
Pressure.
2 tackles for a loss.
That's Absolutely. The only reason I'll let you come in with a Niners this early in the morning.
Hey, well, good morning, everybody out there. I tell you what, you guys had a hell of a weekend. I tell you, on Friday, Saturdays, it's just, it was tremendous. I tell you, we had high school football, we had college football, professional football. And of course, it was just, it was a paradise. I think it was a climax. If it gets any better than that prior to the playoffs, again, high school playoffs, then you know what? I'm just going to have to, I'm going to have to do something to pitch myself, because I was so excited to have the opportunity, to watch the college games, watch the high school games on Saturday. You guys were up at Troop. Yep. And it was a phenomenal game there. And the Georgia Bulldogs on the road to win up and just took a game. I just, Kirby Smart, like I said, I trust Kirby, man, because there's a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense to me about player decisions and positions and all, but I trust him. And I always reference that by saying that. And again, hey, it works out.
Yeah, it does work out. And that was one heck of a football game. And if you're Tennessee, you're like, if it didn't happen now, when is it going to happen? Mm-hmm. Because this is the worst Georgia team in the last 6 years. You're at home. There's no reason you lose that football game. But I want to start by saying this, DJ. The Garrison Edwards show is every bit as good as advertised. I was blown away. 6 touchdowns he accounted for, DJ.
Oh, yeah.
3 on the ground, 3 through the air. He had over 150 on the ground. He had over 200 in the air. This guy, there's nothing he can't do. And he was absolutely legitimate, and I can't wait to see him again. He's not only the best quarterback, I think, in this area, but I think, and if you're including the Troup County schools with what we do around here in the Tri-City area, he's one of the best around, and he's one of the best in the state. And I just was really impressed, and it was a good win for Troup County.
Good story. Great story. In fact, obviously we had an opportunity to talk to Garrison's dad and we went behind the scenes, back behind the curtains, behind the ropes. And, it's just there's no happenstance that this kid is good. His dad has invested in him. He's trained him. He's done well. And he's a 4.4 student as far as his GPA. And, just incredible that we have an opportunity to talk about kids like this. And, looking forward to it. Obviously, he was the AFLAC Academic Player of the Year last year at our Sportsvisions Awards luncheon. So we knew about him. And, again, I've been knowing him. His dad been working with me on the, with putting the lunches together for quite some time. But I know the times that he's driven down to South Georgia to a quarterback camp. His coaches, his trainers, and I know the time he's put in working with baseball, trainers and batting instructors and all of that stuff. So again, you put in good work, and a kid that loves it and a kid that's passionate. That's what you get.
Yeah, great work ethic. He's got a baseball championship. He knows how to win. He is just a competitor, and I was blown away on the broadcast just seeing him take over a game because Troup County had to win in a shootout. They got up 21-0. They tried a fake punt, and all the momentum flipped to Mary Persons, which, by the way, Mary Persons is a very good football team, and Troup County was able to win in a shootout. And it was really because Garrison Edwards said, well, we're gonna win this game. Let's ride on my back. We're going to take this to victory, and they did a fantastic job.
Well, first of all, let's do this. Before we get into unpacking and everything that happened over the weekend, we need to say hello to everybody out there. And again, I know that you had a wonderful weekend, of course, as well as we did, enjoying your high school football, your college football, as well as your professional football. And again, whatever else you were doing. Maybe you were chilling at the beach, or maybe you were at the golf course. You could be just walking in the neighborhood. I do know that it was a beautiful weekend, and we had an opportunity to just enjoy ourselves. But I want to say hello to everybody out there. Make sure that you tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend that the Sports Visions Morning Show is on the air now. And of course, we don't take it for granted, because we know that our jobs, we are here strictly to entertain, educate, and inform you on the goings on in the world of sports. And boy, when I say inform, we definitely got a lot of information for you this week. We have some wonderful, wonderful folks that we are contributing on behalf of Georgia Alabama Sports Live, as well as Sports Visions. And of course, I want to make sure that I say to all of my friends out there in WLTC HD2 Sports Visions 921 land, we love you, but it ain't a damn thing you can do about it.
Hello, somebody.
Guys, let's get this party started. Wow. Where do we start, Thrift?
I think we start with at high school football, man. Then we'll get into college, because I just think Troup County got a big win over Mary Persons. We enjoyed seeing that. Columbus High undefeated. They go to 3-0. They dominate Jordan. Northside gave Carver a run for their money, and that was a battle until the fourth quarter. It was 13-12. And then Carver just ended up pulling away. I was impressed by Coach Horpeza. We had him on last week. That was a really well-coached game. Russell County put up 56 on Percy Julian. They're undefeated 4-0. Brookstone goes on the road, doesn't have a letdown game after beating number 1. And then next week, this upcoming Friday, they got number 2, Stratford. So in between that is a 2A school called Southwest Georgia. That's usually a letdown game for high school students, not Ian Headley's team. And how about those Green Waves? Most people wrote them off. Kegler's team's dead. They're done. They're going to go 3-7, and they just smoked Manchester. So I thought it was a big eye-opening weekend for a lot of teams around the area.
Hey, big shout out to the Shaw Raiders. Got their first victory, 32-14 over Hardaway.
Yeah, that was big, DJ. They needed it desperately, and the winner of that game put themselves in position to make a playoff run. The loser, their season's pretty much over with. So Hardaway, it's going to be a rebuilding year for Shaw. It's got a lot of things in front of them.
Richard, tell me, how did Sumter County hang 56 points on Kendrick?
Well, Sumter County is really good. They are one of the top teams in 2A, and it doesn't fade them. They look like they're trying to fight to get the second spot in the region. And they, by the way, they do host Carver in Americas. Kendrick, they started off 2-0. They lose to Crawford County. They're back at home, and Sumter County was just the better team, and they were able to execute on all phases with offense, defense, and special teams. And Kendrick has an opportunity to bounce back. They play Hardaway next, trying to snap that 2-game losing streak. I still think Kendrick's got everything in front of them to possibly make a playoff run.
And Thrift, those Glenwood Gators hung 49 points on Childersburg.
Yeah, they drove 2 hours away and dominated. And they've dominated every team they played since the second half of Valley. And they're 3-1, 2-0 in the region. They got Beulah. That's another region win potentially this Friday. And then they got a tough stretch coming up in October. They got at Wiley, at Randolph County, at Lee Scott. And the last two I just said, that's basically for a region championship. So Gators trying to get better as they have a tough stretch down the road.
Big shout out to Coach Emmanuel Brunson. Got another victory, 22-7 over Flint River. And again, they remain undefeated.
Yeah, that was probably the biggest win of the season. I'm sorry, the other teams, Terrell, Tatnall, Mount DeSales, they're not good programs. They're like 1-15 combined this year. But to go on the road and beat a powerhouse like Flint River, who has not lost a regular season game in 2 seasons, played for the state championship and won it 2 years ago, lost in the semifinals last year, to go up there and beat them, because they also have not scored a point against Flint River. They lost 28-0 last year, and the year before that was 42-0. It's been 70-0 Flint River over Calvary the previous 2 seasons. To win that 22-7, I give credit to Emmanuel Brunson and his team. That's an eye-opening one. Now I start to think Calvary legitimately could be a contender this year.
Guys, is it official? We are at the halfway point of the high school football season.
I don't even want to think about it, DJ.
Is it the halfway point?
It's
close.
It's week 6 coming up, so this technically would be it, because remember, the regular season with the bye is about 11 to 12 weeks. So right now with week 6, this technically would be it for Georgia. For Alabama, theirs is coming up in the next week or so. The last regular season game for all schools is October 31st. So when November gets here was when playoffs start for most for most teams.
Richard, I tell you what, it seems like only a few weeks ago, the anticipation of the high school football season starting, and here we are 5-6 weeks into this thing. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it goes by fast. We get excited and we're hyping up the season, and then we're in the zone calling games, and we blink, and before you know it, we're almost at the halfway point. But it's been a fun high school football season so far. We've had some great teams. We've got some teams that can win a championship, and I'm really looking forward to some of the matchups. I was kind of pre-scheduling those October games, because we have not done the October schedule yet, but we've got some massive games with playoff implications, and I just can't believe that we're almost at the halfway point. It's just shocking.
Great Monday morning to our good friend out there, Stanley Crowell. That's right, Stanley. It's a great day. It's a great time to be here. Of course, all of our teams around here, Georgia won, Alabama won, of course, Georgia Tech won, Auburn won, and Falcons won. Man, they won a doozy yesterday. Of course, got a brand new kicker, John Parker Romo. He was 5 for 5, and I tell you what, Bijan is he just each and every week, Richard, he is just poetry in motion. He continues to show us that this young man is really vying to be the best player in the National Football League.
I stayed up late to watch the game, and I got to say that was probably the most complete game on defense. See, there's some things the Falcons could clean up on offense, the red zone offense, having to settle for field goals, but that defense having 6 sacks, most since 2009. It's the least amount of points they've given up since 2021, but rushing for almost 200 yards with Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier. They're trying to form their identity. I think the identity of the Falcons is that physical offensive line play, run the football, and set up play action for Michael Penix Jr. because he does have weapons. If they get into a 3rd and long, he's capable of passing it, but you've got to utilize your running backs, Bijan and Tyler. You didn't really do that under Arthur Smith, and you tried to do it a little bit last year, and they just didn't run the football as much as they should, especially with the weapons they have.
Thrift, I tell you one thing is for sure. Penix acts like he's been there before. I know he's just so poised and collect in the pocket, and he's in the huddle on the sidelines. He take command. I'm really impressed with him.
I'm very impressed with him. I was impressed with him last week, and I'm liking the fact that defense stepped up and got some big stops. And like I said, that it hurt because it's a division rival. But in the end, they swept Tampa Bay last year, and Tampa Bay still won the region. In essence, it's not a terrible loss. You didn't want to go to 0-2 to go to Minnesota and win the way you did with defense, time of possession, not making turnovers. I was impressed with the Falcons. That was a big win as we head into the rest of the season.
Before we go to the break, I want to go ahead and make sure that you know what we have on our lineup today. Of course, starting the season 2-0, Richie, hey, the San Francisco 49ers. We're going to have one of the greatest running backs, not just in San Francisco 49ers history, but in college football history, NFL. Well, I won't say all of that, but Garrison Hurst will be with us at 6:30. We'll hear from him. Chuck Williams will say farewell to the Columbus Clingstones, and of course, probably one of the biggest Clingstones fans in the Chattahoochee Valley is Chuck Williams. We'll have an opportunity to hear from Chuck and a whole lot more. Tony Reese from WTVM will be with us. Of course, he's the sports director there, and we'll catch up and see what Tony and Drew got on slate, not just for this past weekend, but in the week coming. And Buck Belue, the quarterback, the old Georgia Bulldog quarterback himself, he will be here with us, and we'll have an opportunity to pick his brains not only about the Georgia Bulldogs' big win on the road, but we'll talk to Buck about the Michael Penix and the Atlanta Falcons because he's sitting hot and heavy, one of the most popular sports talk hosts in the city. Matter of fact, he is the most, in my book, the most popular in the city. We'll go ahead and take a short break and let you know that you're watching Facebook Live and you're listening to WLTC HD2 Sports Visions 921. This is the Sports Visions Morning Show.
Can't wait till I get you on the floor good looking.
Hey, it's Dan Patrick. Thanks for waking up with the Sports Visions Morning Show with DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer. Catch me at 9 a.m. every weekday morning right here on Sports Visions 92.1.
Good Monday morning. I'm Rex Castillo. Here's a look at your morning headlines. While National Guard deployments have caused controversy and conflict in different parts of the country, Some residents in Memphis, Tennessee are supporting the military presence. Ravonda Ligon's son was shot and killed 3 months ago, and she says if the guard can minimize crime, then it's worth it. But Shelby County Mayor Lee Harris is asking Tennessee Governor Bill Lee to reconsider the deployment. Advocates are calling for newborn safety devices or baby boxes to allow for anonymity when surrendering a newborn to be added to Georgia's Safe Place for Newborns Act. Right now in Georgia, babies up to 30 days old can be left with staff at hospitals, police, or fire stations. No questions asked, but this has to be done in person. The FBI is warning Georgians of an uptick in gift card scams. Investigators say scammers are posing as utility company workers, government agents, or even tech support workers to pressure you into making payments with gift cards. The FBI says look for red flags like being asked to share your gift card number or PIN, being urged to take immediate action, or being asked to make a payment with gift cards in the first place. From WRBL News 3, I'm Rex Castillo. Have a great rest of your day.
Good Monday morning. We are off to a mostly clear start this morning while those temperatures remain pleasant in the 60s. And that dry stretch continues today with afternoon highs near 90 under mostly clear skies. Tonight, pleasant and clear, those lows falling into the mid 60s. And we continue to track seasonal readings. And yes, that dry weather pattern continuing through the week with no measurable rainfall expected. And those temperatures remain steady near 90 through most of the week.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and top users make $200 to $300 per month.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code STEER25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code STEER25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code STEER25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Working safely around underground utilities could put you at risk for outages, injury, and loss of life. Don't risk it. Alabama 811 plays a vital role in taking the request to have underground utilities marked. It's free, it's simple, it's the law. Visit al811.com for more info.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-924-7415. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-924-7415. 800-924-7415. 800-924-7415.
You're waking up with a Sports Visions morning show on Sports Visions 92.1. Now back to former Green Bay Packer DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
I'm more than just an option.
Good Monday morning and welcome back to the Sports Visions morning show. DJ Jones, Thrift Barringer, and Richard Holdridge. The band is back together, guys. It's great to be in studio after a successful win. All of our teams won, so it's just going to be a great day just because of that. In fact, fact of the matter, before we bring up Chuck Williams coming up in about 10 minutes or so, we're going to say farewell to the Columbus Clingstones and just a tremendous season. Of course, Diamond Baseball Holdings, they had a tremendous decision to make when they chose to come to Columbus to bring the Clingstones. And I know that everybody was making fun of the name and was just raising all kind of hell. But now at the end of the day, I think that they're glad that everything turned out the way it did. Unfortunately, we would have loved to have been a part of the postseason, the playoffs that are coming up. However, I think that, the bow has been placed on the Clingstones Thrift, and I think they made their mark. They made their mark, and they came in and made impact in a wonderful way. And I think we're a better city for it.
Yeah, I think we are too, man. And I think this was a successful inaugural season. It got the community in a good place. I think with the attendance records that were broken, it has become now the thing to do in Columbus, and hopefully it stays for many years to come. It stays this way. The community support stays this way, and was impressed with everything that Pete Lavin and his staff did.
I know that some people were, buzzing a little bit about, hey, is this a good deal? Is this a good thing? Blah, 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 blah. But I think at the end of the day, when they've seen how it played out, Richard, I think that, like I said, the community is a better place for it. And we have something here. We have an attraction that we'll have to look forward to it. And in season one, such a phenomenal response from the community itself. The community spoke. I mean, they showed up, they showed out, and they proved that, this town is worthy of having a professional minor league baseball team. And I look for many, many years to come.
Oh, no question, DJ. Synovus Park has been one of the best ballparks in minor league baseball, which is allowing Columbus to be that attraction that people can go to Columbus, and it's been great for the economy. I know that in the beginning, they didn't like the name. They're like, minor league baseball is not going to work in Columbus. It's failed before. But with the success that we've had in year one, just the simple fact it's a Braves minor league organization, but the fans came out and averaged 4,000 fans. And even like on a Tuesday night, there were still 2,000 fans. I mean, so there's no question, they break the attendance record, and I cannot wait for 2026. We already know when the opener is going to be. It's going to be that first weekend in April. And yeah, going to miss the Clingstones, but excited about next year.
I mentioned that Chuck Williams will be up with us, but guys, I want you to be forward thinking about the questions that you're going to have for him. I'm going to have a question for him because, again, that whole banking situation where Synovus and this company from Tennessee merging or bought out or whatever it is, I mean, is Synovus Park going to continue to be named Synovus Park?
That's a good question, DJ, and that's what we're going to have to find out here is they're going to be a new name change, and that's something you would think that would happen 10, 15 years, not a year after the fact. So that I wonder that's what's going to happen with that as well.
Well, if anybody knows at this point, I'm sure Chuck will inform us and let us know, or give us a heads up. Anyway, but so much to talk about. So, again, congratulations to Pete Lavin, as well as, of course, the voice of the Clingstones, which we've had the opportunity to have him as a contributor on a bi-weekly basis pretty much all season long. Jack Johnson, those two guys are both Pete and Jack have been tremendous. That staff, of course, we talked to, we have relationships with the ground crew and all the, Brendan was superb. He was super. I mean, the job that he did with the field and educating the Sportsvisions Nation on some of the things and some of the techniques and some of the chemicals that he was using to keep that grass green through the rain and the heat was phenomenal.
Yeah, it is, man. And Brendan Seaver, I need him to come do that with my grass. Can he show me exactly what I need to do?
For a price, I'm sure.
Yeah, but this guy, he was great to interview too, and that's what's so unique about Sportsvision. We ever talked to the head groundskeeper, who I think kept that ballpark as beautiful as always. And this is where I really think he gets his money's worth, is the off season. Got to keep that baby still looking fresh and clean for when the spring comes around.
We didn't leave a stone unturned, Richard. We went and talked. We talked to the young lady that actually managed the pro shop down there with all the gear. And again, the way the town and the way the community, the way the region has been captivated by all of the Clingstones gear. I mean, there's so many people that have an important role and, just do your job. And again, that's why I say Pete Lavin, who is the general manager, he's the point guy. He's the guy that catches all the noise. He's the guy that gets all the attention, but he has a tremendous staff. And then get from the promotions and the marketing guy, BT, with, of course, being the in-house voice of the Clingstones, and all the folks that were running the Jumbotron and all the concessionaires. It was just a great job. First year, and it didn't matter if it was first year or the 10th year. I thought that they did a professional jam up job.
Yeah, it definitely was a team effort when it comes to selling merchandise, the concessions, the PA announcing, working the scoreboard. I got to know the guys that do the pitch clock and the scoreboard up in the press box. Of course, visiting the Orchard store, I made sure to get myself and my family gear. And every time I went to Synovus Park, I always look forward to concessions because they've had great food. And it was such an experience, not just the baseball game, but just the experience, whether you sat on the third or the first base side and had the all-you-can-eat seats, or whether you had tickets up in the Aflac Club. I mean, there was so much to do. They even had a kid zone for the kids. And I'll tell you, it was just such an incredible job by the staff to put on such a show there for the whole season. It was a huge success.
And Thrift, you should be pitching yourself because you'll go down in history and you'll be in the archives, be calling one of the greatest, or one of the greatest. A few plays because they're going to have several. They have a montage, but you are going to be a part of that highlight reel and a part of those highlights that will be going into the archives with regards to the greatest calls, the greatest moments in the inaugural season of the Columbus Clingstones.
I got the first ever grand slam by Workinger and three home run game as well. But it was a lot of fun to be a part of, and thank you to Jack Johnson for allowing me to do that.
Absolutely, and of course, now with the grass being so green and pretty, it's almost a crime to think that nothing's going to happen. I mean, they're going to continue to keep it beautiful because again, that is the home of the Clingstones. But just wish that we could just get some multiple use out of that.
Yeah, I am too, man. I'd hope that something's going to happen in the off season. Maybe Savannah Bananas, something. Get a concert. Utilize that stadium in some capacity. I would hope, and it's not just being dormant till next April.
Absolutely, Richard. You got to be excited. I know that your San Francisco 49ers are off to a 2-0 start. Obviously, one of our very own, Mikael Williams, three-time Sportsvisions Defensive Player of the Year, is shining. Of course, the former Georgia Bulldog is doing really, really well, the first-round draft choice. But we're going to have one of the great running backs, one of the great players in the 49ers history coming up in just a little bit that I know that you are very fond of.
Oh, yes. Garrison Hurst, special place in my heart, especially playing for Georgia and the 49ers, along with Mikael Williams, Guy McIntyre, Charlie Warner. I mean, I can name all the Georgia and 49er players, but Mikael Williams had a fantastic game. He had 2 tackles for a loss, 5 tackles all in total, and he was responsible for putting pressure to allow Nick Bosa to get that sack, which pretty much sealed the game. I know that the New Orleans Saints are one of the worst teams in the NFL, but a win is a win, and they were able to win because Mac Jones had 3 touchdown passes, and the 49ers are 2-0, and the last time that they went 2-0, winning their first 2 games on the road, they went to the Super Bowl.
Good deal. Hey, let's go ahead and take a short break. You are watching Facebook Live, and you're listening to WLTC HD2 Sports Visions 921. We are your hometown sports guys.
If it's local, it's on the Sports Visions Morning Show with former Georgia Bulldog DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Serving in Afghanistan, I was shot in the head by sniper fire. I was given a 5% chance to live. I'm Adam Alexander, and I'm a veteran. Today, I visit classrooms and share my story. I tell kids that with a little help and a lot of work, that you can overcome any challenge.
DAV helps veterans like Adam get the benefits they've earned. They help more than 1 million veterans every year.
My victory is being there for the next generation.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Would you like to sponsor Sports Visions Radio? Call 706-327-1217 to find out how. That's 706-327-1217.
Man, I loved playing high school sports growing up. And it's fun being a fan now, don't get me wrong, but sitting in the stands feels like I'm missing out on all the action, you know? I wanted to get back in the game. So I signed up to be a high school official. It takes me back to my playing days. I'm supporting students, and I get paid to make the big calls. Do you want to see the game up close? Sign up to become an official in Alabama at highschoolofficials.com.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic, safe, effective, even money saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
Attorney advertising, Georgia. Attorney 770, good law car accident lawyers. Paid after dramatization. Top dog does not mean we are the best. No guarantees of success.
I have a couple questions I need a couple answers to. If you wanted a dog for protection, what type of dog are you going to go and get? Are you going to get an aggressive dog or not so aggressive dog? Are you going to go get a big dog or a little dog? I need answers. If you needed help, what you want your dog to do? You want him to sit there and run away? Or you want your dog to go and bite somebody, like real bad? If you was in a fight, what a little dog gonna do for you? Bite their ankles? You know what somebody can do to that little dog? They can kick him. They can beat him. You want a big dog. You want top dog, law dog. You want the dog that's gonna bite dog. That's top dog, law dog. Any accident, top dog law.
At the YMCA, finding your why starts by making an impact together, touching lives for the better. It can be the gift of time or treasure, supporting a community through talent without measure. Here, compassion fuels commitment, finding fulfillment through enrichment, serving and improving. What a way to live, and what a gift it is to give. Find your why and get involved today at ymca.org for a better us.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
The only live and local sports morning show. It's the Sports Visions Morning Show with Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Famer DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer on Sports Visions 92.1.
Garrison Hurst. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. How are you guys?
Wonderful, man. Great to have you. Thanks for waking up with us here on the Sports Visions Morning Show, man. I tell you, but when we made the announcement a little earlier that you were going to be with us, man, I tell you would have thought that you were born and raised here in this community because I tell you what, it hadn't been the same this morning. The station was rattled, I tell you, and the fact that you have one of your long time San Francisco 49er fans in the building with us, and I say fans with, of course, goodness. The fact of the matter that Richard Holdridge is from San Francisco, from the Bay Area,
Yes.
and I wanted to just personally say hello to him.
Hey, Garrison, I'm a lifelong 49ers fan. I also want to make mention Jack Johnson is a lifelong 49ers fan, too, and he's going to be on, but I just wanted to throw that out there. Thrift, I know. Being a Georgia running back, he finished third in the Heisman and then just had an incredible NFL career. I do want to talk about what it took to come back from that injury in 98 to still rush for over 1,000 yards in 2001 and 2002 to help the 49ers get back to the postseason. What were some of the ways to get prepared to make that comeback after that injury?
Oh, man. Thank you guys for having me again. But it was God's grace on that injury. I can sit up here and tell you I did everything in the world to get back out there, and I knew this was coming. No, man. I was. Anybody had a prayer for me, I was accepting it at that time. But as far as the training regimen, it was more a lot of sandpit work, a lot of training with Terrell Jones and Jerry, and it was 6 surgeries. Still trying to stay around the locker room so that you felt like you were part of the team, because that's the hardest. It wasn't so much the rehab; it was more the this not being a part of the team because you're just walking around looking. That sucks. But I in my head I said, I'm gonna get back. I just didn't want to get back and be, I don't think I was the same back, but I still wanted to get back and be the type tailback that could help the team win. And that was my goal the whole time.
Garrison, let's go ahead and back it up a little bit. Bring it a little closer to home. Of course, bring it back to the state of Georgia. You were recently inducted into the Georgia High School Football Hall of Fame for all of the things that you were able to do at the wonderful high school down in was it Lincoln?
Lincoln County.
Yes,
Lincoln,
exactly. So
Red Devils.
I want to go back there because I know that was where it all started for you. And when did the light go off in your head that you were something special?
I don't know if the light ever went off. It went to a point where we had guys getting recruited and coaches were coming through there. And I didn't really understand how it worked back then. And I remember talking to my high school coach, Howard Ellis, and asking who are these guys coming through and why. And he was saying these guys are coming to look at a player we had by the name of Kurt Douglas. He was a linebacker that played at Georgia with me. And I said, they're coming to look at him to go to school there. He was like, yeah, this is how it works. The coaches come check you out. They come get to know you. And that's when I knew then. I said, I want to be a part of something like this. But in my high school, we were always a good football team, even prior to me getting there. So I wasn't anybody they were going to be looking at. I had to work my way through that. So that's when I kind of, started thinking in my head, okay, I want to go play college football. Let me start picking my game up so they can come look at me.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And it's talking about looking at you. They did start looking at you, and you ended up deciding to go to University of Georgia. Talk about that recruiting process, why you ultimately chose to go play for the Dogs for your college career, man.
Oh, man, I'll say it was a lot of fun visiting other schools, but when I went to Athens, I kind of knew all right. I said, hey, this is where I want to be at. It was Athens. If you've been to Athens, you know what it is. It's Athens. On a Saturday.
Country. Come on now.
Oh, on a Saturday in Athens, and nothing like being a Bulldog on Saturday night.
You said it. Absolutely.
But it was Georgia actually was the first team to ever send me a letter. Coach Dooley wrote me a letter in the 9th grade, and it started everything for me.
Good deal. Now, again, when you talk about the recruiting process, I know, and I don't know how you were, and I do know that I'm on the board and you're in the Hall of Fame, but as far as the high school accolades and all the honors and all the attention, now again, how did you said you didn't, you were just fitting in because some guys were coming to practice, but once you realized that you were you were one of the best. How did that change your life? How did your family, start to, I guess, get acclimated to the fact that they got to start running back here in their son right here in their community?
Guys, I'm sorry, you just came back in. I missed the whole question.
I said when you mentioned that when you were first started to be recruited, they came in to see someone else, and you were asking the coaches who were these guys. But when you finally realized that they were coming in to see you, and you were one of the top backs in the state, when did it click in your head that obviously it was a different time?
DJ,
Yes,
hey guys, you just came back in when I could hear you.
Okay. All right. Like again, I was mentioning all the publicity that the guy got when the coaches were initially coming in to recruit Kurt.
Okay.
And when you realized that you were the guy and you were one of the best, how did that affect your family? How did that affect your whole attitude toward the game?
Oh, that was totally different. And once Kurt went to college, and then now everybody's coming there to see me. I come from a set of parents where you're going to stay in your place, and you're not going to be anything more than you should be based off just because people come to see you. So I was grounded. I had a grounding service. Believe me, my parents didn't play that. But again, you really start to feel really good about yourself. But it also makes you want to work harder, because then you start to figure out all the other things that it takes to go to school. So now I got to work on my SAT, which was important back then. Now my GPA matters. Now I got to make sure I get my Spanish in, my other class, my lab sciences. So it's
sometimes internet wants to always be the Achilles heel for what was going to be a fantastic interview, but
hopefully we'll get him back. And again, we have that from time to time, but technology, obviously. Let's go ahead and bring him up right now. Garrison, are you there?
I am here, fellas. I apologize about that.
No, we both have it on both sides, man. But technology just has a way of doing what it wants to do. But I'm glad we had an option, and this is the best option at this particular time. We got a great picture of you in your Georgia Bulldogs studs back in the day, man. But more importantly, the question that I'd asked that when we're starting to have issues is that when you found out, again, initially the recruiters were coming in town to see another one of your teammates, but you were the man. And of course, when you found out that you were special, everybody was coming to see you. How many different colleges and how many different coaches that you had the opportunity to prepare and meet before you made your decision to go to the University of Georgia?
Oh, wow. I couldn't count how many coaches it was. It got to a point where I stopped even trying to count. At the time, we had some the high school secretaries enjoyed it, I think, more than I did. They were constantly writing out and taking cards, and there were a stack of business cards on the counter in the office based off all the guys coming in. But it was I look back on it and I'm happy, and I got a chance to go through that because it was a life-changing experience. A lot of guys that I met, I ended up working with. One guy I met in particular came from Notre Dame. I ended up working with him in San Francisco, a guy named Vinny Serrato. I think that was his name. But it was it's something that I enjoyed. My family enjoyed it to a point where when you made your mind up where you want to go, there were several coaches that didn't stop trying. That's the part that got on your nerves a little bit. But, in the business of recruiting, I understand how it works.
What was it like getting into the NFL, man? Was it an eye-opening experience? Is there like a moment that kind of like welcomed you to the big leagues, man? How was that like early on?
Shoot, you get welcomed to the big leagues really quick in the NFL from the walk in the locker room. Hey, I tell this story because I remember we had our practice, one of the mini camp practices, and I'm trying to run Georgia tall sweep is a Georgia tall sweep.
Yeah.
And but in the NFL, the defensive line was faster than me.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't even get to the corner. And they rotated again. We run another play the other side. The second string guy beat me to the corner. I'm like, what the hell did I get myself into? So I knew then, I said, okay, this is a whole nother level. And these guys, back then when I played, the DNs weren't standing up. They were 300-pound DNs. So it was crazy.
Garrison, right now we got a big rivalry going on here in Columbus between Carver and Spencer. So you know a thing or two about rivalries. You came to the 49ers in 97. You're right in the tail end of the rivalry between the Packers and the 49ers. It seemed like the Niners could not get over the hump. They continued losing to Green Bay in the playoffs. What was that feeling like in 98 when Terrell Owens made that catch, dubbed as the catch two? The 49ers finally get over the hump and beat Green Bay, and then they go play the Atlanta Falcons in the playoffs.
That was crazy, man. That was an amazing game. That's what up here, you're down here because Green Bay was, and for every jab we gave them, they gave us right back. So we had played them in 98 in the regular season as well in Green Bay, and they beat us. And it was one of those games where you had the feeling from the start that game was going to come down to the last plays of the fourth quarter. It wasn't going to be a game that was decided early where you can tell who was going to win. Because it was one of those games where everybody was giving their best shot. But I got to San Francisco in 97, and I wasn't used to a rivalry like that because the teams I came from didn't have that kind of winning percentage. So I got there, and you instantly hate Green Bay and you hate Dallas Cowboys.
If you're just joining us, we have with us one of the greatest running backs to play at the University of Georgia and, of course, an NFL All-Star. His name is Garrison Hurst, and, of course, he comes from humble beginnings, but, boy, I tell you, did he take what he had and ran with it. Garrison, as you look at the game today, and obviously with NIL and the transfer portal, do you think that these young men that are having these wonderful opportunities and these financial gains, do you think that they will be the responsible and the mature men that they need to be on the other side when it's all over, whether it's at the end of their collegiate career or even after they go on to play in the pros?
I hope they are, man. I hope they got some programs in place for these young guys that are coming in, or they got a family structure that helps them. I'm definitely for those guys getting what they can. College football was great to me, and it's going to be great for a long time. The young men now with social media have such a vast platform they can get on, so their financial gains can be immense. So I want these young men to understand what they get into, and I hope it still comes back where these guys still love the game of football. Because at the end, if you don't love the game of football, it's going to show. So I'm hoping the love for the game stays the same. If you play at Georgia, you're gonna have to love it. So that's one thing I love. So
yeah, yes indeed.
The NIL and the likenesses, these guys deserve it. They go out there and put the work in and they earn it. So I'm not against it at all.
All right. The other part of that is the transfer portal, obviously being able to go and come, hip and scot and skip wherever, I'm not getting the shine over here, so I can go across the street. I mean, that's the part of it that really, really bothers me. The financial part, I got an issue with it, but at the same time, because it's like you said, if they put programs in place, again, financial literacy type of things so that you can at least prepare these guys. But that, competition thing, when you get playing, when you're third team or when you scout team and you want to jump because you are an underclassman and you think that you have a better opportunity over on the other side, what's your take on that?
I'm not a fan of the transfer portal because a lot of times kids go there and they die there. That's the scary part. Mm-hmm. It seems like if you're not a starter after year one, you're giving up 90% of the time. And it's hard to go in any college and be a starter as a freshman. That shit's hard to do. I don't know what they're being told. And the thing that throws me off about that more than anything is you're getting financially compensated for being there already. So because you're not starting, now you're going to go leave and work on that all over again. I think you should work your craft unless there's a reason that makes sense for you to leave. Sometimes it makes sense, but transfer portal is a little different for me. I'm not 100% fan of that one.
Garrison, we have young people watching and listening to this every single morning. And the big thing we like talking about is overcoming adversity, not letting things like that define you, take your joy away. You had injuries, 2 of them, in the meat of the prime of your career, and you did not let that define you. You came back and had just as many yards as you had before the injury. Talk about that process, those 2 years, and what's your advice to young people that are overcoming injury or anything else in life on how to not to give up and continue pursuing your dream?
When it comes to injuries, you got to I look at it. You put so much work into trying to, get on the field and do what you want to do, and you have setbacks like that.
Right.
But on anything, it's not going to let yourself down. When you go through all of that and you look back, you get an injury, and then you look back and you say, okay, hold up. I have got to get back to what I was before. I don't want to go out, on the stretcher. And God's grace, it gets you there.
Right.
But it also got to give you the mindset of, I'm not a quitter. And it's not quitting when you're injured, but you have that in your mind still. All the injuries I had, my thing was, I don't want to quit. I don't want to quit. I want to come back. I want to come back. And it's just perseverance and just going out and putting the work in every day. That's the hardest part because nobody's watching. You're over there when you're rehabbing, you're doing it 2 to 3 times a day. And that's not the fanfare you want for football. And nobody's watching. So in your mind, you have to play your own mind game in your head. I started competing against myself just to give myself some kind of push to try to work through certain days that were harder than others. But I don't want to give up. I want to get back to what I was kind of mindset. And I think you had to run with that long as you can.
Garrison, you were drafted by the Cardinals in 93. In 94, they changed from the Phoenix Cardinals to the Arizona Cardinals. And it seems like it was just a whole different culture change because they go from Joe Bugle to Buddy Ryan. And he was trying to implement that Eagles defense, getting like guys like Seth Joyner. What was that like going from that transition to Joe Bugle to playing for Coach Buddy Ryan in Arizona?
Oh, man, you brought up some old school stuff on this. Sounds real, didn't it? Hey, man, Buddy Ryan, I was in football at the end part of old school football, and Buddy Ryan showed me that. When I tell you that was some of the hardest training camps I've ever had in my life, we were going full pass on Friday during game week, live goal line. I'm like, what the heck is this about? I don't know if I want to do this anymore. They were trying to change the culture, but I'm not sure if Buddy was the guy to change it then, because we were still playing teams that were starting to change more as far as resting their players. And Buddy counted strictly on his defense to win games. He would tell us, "You guys score 1 or 2 touchdowns, our defense will score 1, we'll win." Obviously that didn't work for us for 2 years. And it was a eye-opening. I was able to learn a lot based off the business of football and how it takes a total team to win. And I figured that out. That was not the formula we were going to win with. In 2 years, they let him go. And hey, I think I left a year after that. So Arizona was different. That's all I'll say about that.
Garrison Hurst is our guest this morning on the Sports Visions morning show. Garrison, I know when we have a guest on that have played in professional sports, I'm big on talking about the transition, because a lot of us don't have the energy, or we don't have the passion to shift that gear that it takes to transition from football to a professional or a private career into entrepreneurship or corporate or whatever it may be. With you, how were you able to deal with, of course, realizing that your playing days were over and it was time to move on and live the life of a normal human being and take care of your family?
Oh, wow. The NFL tells you real quick, okay, your time is up. Doesn't take long for them to tell you. It came quick. Initially, it was really hard because, like you said, since 7th grade, we played football. That's when I started.
Right.
And it's been the same schedule up until I was 33, 34 years old. So I had a few dark years in there while I was trying to figure things out. I got a phone call from Merton Hanks. It was about 8 or 9 years ago when I got about 10 years ago when I got it. And he was working in the league office at the time. And he told me there may be some opportunities coming open for the NFL job. And I said, well, you let me know. Because when I was in San Francisco in 2002-03, Merton Hank was the uniform code guy for us. And I'm dying laughing because he used to break every rule on the book. So now he's the guy that's enforcing. I told him, I said, when I'm done, I want to do that job. And he said, I'll call you if it comes open. And never thought in a million years he would. And he called me with that job. And I've been doing that now, almost 10 years. Initially, I've had a few entrepreneurships with construction and marketing. But I got into this, and I've been just as happy ever since.
Good deal. Now, again, as you watch the game in Athens, and it's nothing like being a Bulldog on Saturday night. And I don't know how often you get an opportunity to go back and of course, and get involved. And Kirby is a different animal. Obviously, we played back during an era with Coach Vince Dooley was outstanding, Jim Donnan and Mark Richt. But Kirby Smart, man, he came in cracking the whip. And have you had any interaction with Kirby at all?
Oh, yeah. I knew Kirby because Kirby came in right after me. And, when you first leave Georgia, you're back all the time. So I got a chance to hang out and get to know him then back in his college days. I love what he's doing. I think that was nothing against other coaches, but I think that was the thing that was needed for Georgia to get past the hump, if you know what I'm saying. They've had great years prior to him, but it was just something we needed, another move or another kick. And Kirby Smart came in there and changed everything. I think, in my opinion, it was more mental than anything. And when you get the mental side down, the physical side comes next, and that's then championships show up, and that's what happened.
Garrison, I do want to bring it back to your playing days at Georgia. That was an incredible season in '92. Went 10-2, finished third in the Heisman. And you talk about just that brotherhood of running backs at Georgia. What does that mean to you as a player to play at Georgia and follow the likes of Herschel Walker, Tim Worley, and then also just be inspiring to running backs that came after you, like a Todd Gurley or a Nick Chubb or a Sony Michel? Just talk about what it means to just be a running back at Georgia and how special is that?
Oh, man. I remember going to back then you would go to the games and watch the game, and the recruiting coordinator at the time when I was going up there was Bob Pitter. And he would always take me. You get to go on the field and watch pregame, and I always assumed. I said, I don't know if I could play running back. I thought Tim Worley was the biggest man I've ever seen in my life with no body fat. And then you had Rodney Hampton, you had Lars Tate, you had Alfonso Ellis. I mean, I'm like, Coach, y'all sure y'all recruiting the right guy? I look nothing like these dudes. But I would go back home and tell my dad and tell teammates, hey, man, I got to learn how to do this. I got to learn how to do that. You watching guys like that run the ball, you can't not want to be great watching that. It was the most exciting thing I've ever seen in my life because that introduced me to seeing college football. And that's when Georgia, when they come out there in that I formation and run that tall sweep or come downhill, it was beautiful. So, you know, when I watched that, I knew if I'm going to be here, I got to do something similar at least. And having a coach like Willie McClendon, who was a running back there as well, who was really good, you were taught toughness from the day one. It was no other way to play the game. And the 92 season was a season where we just clicked on a lot of things and it just worked. Our offensive line was getting down with it. Where I had a good receiver with Andre Hasten, had a tight end, had a quarterback with Eric Zion, and Max. It was a good team. And it made it easy. You know, I got a lot of accolades, but those guys, it was plays made all over that field.
Garrison, lastly, I want to ask you with regards to, you know, football today as you see it. And again, if you were the commissioner for a day and you had an opportunity to come back and rule, what were some of the things that you think would help this game and help move this game to the next level?
Are you referring to NFL?
I'm college football.
Oh, college? I'm not a fan of some of the rules as far as the targeting rules and in my opinion, you got to protect players, but you don't protect them to the point where it changes the game, in my opinion. It's my opinion. So, and I'm basing this off what the defensive guys have to go through. I'm not even basing off offense because I'm on offense. I want all the help I can get, but some of the rules I think need to be pulled back and allow these guys to play the game where they should a little bit more. But other than that, you know, I love the sport of college football so much. I take what I get on that side. You know, you don't play college football, in my opinion, for nothing more than the love of the game, because college football is the most exciting thing there is, in my opinion.
Good deal. With that said, man, we appreciate you waking up with us here this morning on the Sports Vision Morning Show, man. Hey, have a great rest of your day, and thank you so much.
Thanks, Garrison.
Hey, thank you, guys.
All right,
I appreciate having me.
Yes, sir.
Stay tuned. More local and national sports coverage next on the Sports Visions Morning Show. Sports Visions 92.1.
I'm Matt Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Your car steering wheel could be a ticking time bomb. At least 24 people have died and many more injured because their airbags fired shrapnel at them upon inflating. Tens of millions of cars have been recalled. If you suffered cuts that required stitches, hearing or vision loss, or broken bones, please contact us today. You could be owed money for medical bills and other damages.
Morgan & Morgan. Visit us at badairbags.com for an office near you. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
We are the NFHS. That stands for the National Federation of State High School Associations. But really, what we stand for, together with the AHSAA, are the 138,000 high school sports students in Alabama. And so we stand. We stand for the runners, soccer, and basketball players. We stand for their coaches, administrators, and officials. We stand for the swimmers, football players, and wrestlers. We stand for the golfers, softball, and volleyball players. We stand as the national leader and advocate for high school athletics and all who participate in them and make them possible, because it is our purpose to ensure that high school students get to play, perform, and compete together. To learn more about who we are and what we stand for, visit nfhs.org.
Do you hear that? Asthma triggers are everywhere, from dust mites, pet dander, and pollen, to smog and smoke. An asthma attack can strike anywhere, anytime. Be prepared with quick-acting Primatene Mist. Clinically proven to open airways quickly. It's the #1 FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. Primatene Mist. Breathe easy again. Use as directed.
Even though I'm away at college, Kinetic Credit Union is still the best way for me to stay connected here and at home. With the Kinetic mobile app, I have control of my accounts wherever I go. I can easily transfer money between internal and external accounts, get money faster by setting up recurring transfers, and I can find the nearest ATM or branch right from my phone. Plus, I can add my Kinetic cards to my phone's digital wallet and enjoy quick, secure, contactless payments. By the way, Mom, I need some more money.
Kinetic Credit Union, the energy for your dreams.
WLTC HD2 Casita and W221DP Columbus. You're listening to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Sports Visions 92.1. The Herd with Colin Cowherd. 12 to 3 on Sports Visions 92.1. Now back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Here's Carver Tigers legend DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Welcome back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. DJ Jones, Thrift Barringer. Good Monday morning, everybody out there. We appreciate the fact that you allow us to help you get your day started. And I know that many of you now are well on your way, of course, on to work, or maybe you're walking in Lake Bottom or in your neighborhood with your earpods on. But thank you for allowing us to do that. We appreciate it. We don't take it for granted, do we?
No, we don't. And as long as you got your AirPods in and you're listening to something, you're cool. If you just have your AirPods in as a decoration, I frown upon you.
Baseball has been in Columbus, Georgia for a long, long time. Minor league baseball, that is. And I know that the Columbus Clingstones have rejuvenated the community with minor league baseball, having the AA affiliate of the Atlanta Braves coming in, of course, on behalf of Diamond Holdings. And, of course, it made a lot of people happy. We don't want to bring with us a guy that probably one of the biggest Columbus Clingstone fan, probably one of the biggest minor league baseball fans that we've seen around here sometimes. Good morning, Chuck Williams. How are you?
Good morning, DJ. You did me dirty this morning following Garrison Hurst. Who follows Garrison Hurst on the radio?
Man, I have to keep it going. Look, I know that you're the only person that's going to keep people, from going back to sleep. So I had to plug you right in there, man.
You know what I thought about when I was listening to Garrison, and he made some really good points toward the end of the interview, was how would you like to have to stroke that NIL check to him right now?
Yeah.
Goodness gracious, what he would cost to play college football for you.
It would be thick. It would really be heavy. He was tremendous. And again, the way he's able to, to share the game with us now, again, I love it because he's so much more knowledgeable. He's a father, first and foremost, who had, of course, after being a great player, he had a son that was a pretty doggone good player. We didn't talk enough about him. And next time I have him back, I have to have him elaborated on that. But Chuck, we are here to talk Columbus Clingstones baseball. The season is over officially yesterday. And again, I tell you, man, I've been, this morning and all week long leading into this morning's show, Thrift and I and Richard, we have thanked, the Diamond Holdings people, Pete Lavin, all the folks that are associated and affiliated with the Columbus Clingstones for this fantastic experience. And I wanted to bring you on because I know that if there is an aficionado with regards to Columbus Clingstones and you got season tickets, you enjoyed the experience probably more than anybody that I know as far as going to the games and genuinely loved that experience.
I really did, DJ. And I was counting it up, thinking about it last week after the last homestand ended. There were roughly 65 home games, should have been 69, had 4 rainouts. I made 60 of them. I saw 60 baseball games this summer at Synovus Park and enjoyed it immensely. I made friends I didn't know I had. I became fascinated with some dude dressed up in a peach costume whose name was Fuzzy. I mean, all these things just, it was everything I thought it would be and then some with a huge multiplier. It was really... And I know I sound like a cheerleader, and I covered it. I still cover the development that they're talking about. But, DJ, think about it. Before this season, they played baseball 99 years down at the South Commons. The most people they've ever drawn for a single season was 159 and change, 159,000 and change back in 82 with the Columbus Astros. They drew just south of 230,000 100,000 people to baseball games through the course of 4.5, 5 months. That is a staggering number. And now you have to start asking yourself, why? How did that happen? How did that many people, were we starved for it? Was the product that good? The product on the field, they didn't win a lot of games. So on the field, I mean, there were great players that came through, make no mistake about it. But it wasn't the Columbus teams winning every game type stuff. What was it? Was it what DBH and the Braves did to the park? Was it the $50 million the city spent that basically took a facility that was being demolished by neglect and turned it into this fascinating venue that drew a lot of people? And DJ, you and Thrift were down there. Y'all saw it. Were you stunned at how many families, how many kids were there? It was a kid zone all season.
Phenomenal. I sit here and I think, and I remember back, and you and I are in the same age era with regards to remembering the Columbus Astros and the players, in the community, in the grocery stores, in and around in the shopping centers. And again, you might see a guy here on an injury assignment, and then you might look at television and see him playing back in Houston with the Astros. And it just felt special. I mean, obviously that part of it, is something that we won't know until a few years from now, because obviously the kids and the game is a little different with regards to the way these, the guys move and young people move. But all of that, as you think back, what do you remember? I mean, obviously, because again, this is a kind of this is a salute to the Clean Stone. So it has to have a piece of the history of this minor league baseball town in it. So I want to go back to your memories of the Astros and growing up here with the baseball team and with baseball players in and around this community.
DJ, I was a Montgomery guy. I was raised in Eufaula. I went to Montgomery Rebels games, not Columbus Astros games. I was blessed one year. I got to see the future of the Detroit Tigers, Trammell, Whitaker, Parrish, all playing a full season in Montgomery. I'll always remember that. I mean, God, Sweet Lou Whitaker, what a player. And you could sense some of that here. I got here in '89, so I saw the tail end of the Mudcats, and I saw the Charlie Morrow efforts with the Red Sticks, and then I saw it just kind of become a venue of last choice for somebody who didn't have a place to put a team. And I think the 17 years without baseball, DJ, I think that wandering around in the wilderness and seeing folks like Montgomery and Chattanooga, similarly situated cities, have it, I think. And then, you couldn't have scripted it any better. Atlanta Braves AA. If you had to draw a circle, outside the metro area, Columbus, Georgia is the heart of Braves country. No question about it. So we get to watch the future Braves. And, it didn't work 20 years ago, 25 years ago when Macon had the single A team. But this is a little different. AA is different brand of baseball, just a little different.
So we talk about, Synovus Park. That used to be Golden Park. Now with the banking industry, it being something's going on, and maybe you definitely can explain it a hell of a lot better than I can. And for those folks that are listening that maybe they haven't kept up with it, or maybe they don't realize what's going on, but we could have a situation where Synovus Park might be called something else. Is it?
No question. If and when this merger goes through, Synovus is merging with a Tennessee-based bank, Pinnacle. And when that merger takes place, and it's going to be early next year, probably when they finalize it, and then Kevin Blair, the CEO, says it's going to take about 12 months to do the name change. They will become Pinnacle Bank. Synovus Park will become Pinnacle Park. But, there's a blueprint for that, DJ. Truist Park started as SunTrust. And
yes,
SunTrust became Truist. And, we don't think anything about calling it Truist Park, though we remember it as SunTrust in the beginning. So there's a definite blueprint within the Braves and DBH on how to handle this. And, Synovus Park, great. It's been wonderful. But I mean, Pinnacle, the name change will happen almost seamlessly that's my prediction. I mean, that it'll be something you show up one day. I mean, I think the happiest guy in town on this is, y'all know Richie Grantham, the sign guy. Richie's the happiest guy in town because he's probably going to be changing a lot of those signs out there at Synovus Park. So I want to be Richie's banker for a couple of days. But that it's going to happen. I mean, when the merger is finalized, it's going to happen, and it doesn't even feel like a blip to me. I mean, it's something for people to say, hey, this is terrible, or if you want to throw opinion out, you can do it. But I don't see it as anything major, but that's just and I look at Truist and SunTrust as my gauge for that.
Chuck, when we've had minor league baseball come through this town for many years now, but this year something special happened. But is this a flash in the pan, or is this something that is sustainable for many years? What's your opinion on it after year one?
Stay tuned. We don't know. Honest answer. I mean, I know our season tickets, my wife Kathy and I, were in section 205. 205 had a combination. I think the mayor's tickets were in there. Dr. Lewis, school superintendent, his season tickets were in there. But there were guys like Ricky Rogers and Dave Norris, and there were guys that I had never met before. There was a guy and his wife from Beauregard who works in Auburn. I mean, all these people became our friends through the course of a season. I mean, we would talk, we would share a nacho, whatever. And it really built a community in there. The question on Survival Thrift, to answer your question, is, do those people renew? And renew their season tickets? Do they continue to place their trust in DBH to create a fan-friendly, family-friendly environment that is fun? This just, with their giveaways, with all their giveaway nights and stuff. Do they keep their merch fresh? My guess is they probably will. But it's really interesting because most of the people I've talked to in our section, the Colony Bank season tickets are in our section. Those guys are re-upping. Some of them are adding seats if they can. People are fighting to get in a little different, better position in the section. So I've only talked to one person who's not re-upping their season tickets, and that's across the park. So is that my bubble? Am I in a bubble and that's not real? Who knows? But and I've talked to people who had that 20-game pass that now are looking at splitting season tickets with one of their friends, doing stuff to get more tickets. And one of the things about those season ticket packages, and I'm not shilling for Pete Lavin and the DBH guys at all, but one of the things that became obvious was when you go to those merch nights, Fuzzy Bobblehead, the jersey giveaways, the Aflac beach towel, one of the things that they do is they form two lines. Season ticket holders got a line, and people who got single season tickets got a line. Season ticket holder line starts 15 minutes before the other one. So you're pretty much, if you're there, when the line opened, and it was usually a Saturday night game, so 6 o'clock game, so the line opened at 4:45, regular at 5. If you got there, you pretty much were assured of getting the premium. And there are people, they had a lot of really good giveaway items. It sounds like I'm blowing smoke, but they did. They gave away that trucker's hat, the Stoner's trucker hat, man, that's my favorite. That's become my favorite cap.
Good deal. Good deal. Chuck Williams is our guest this morning on the Sportsvisions Morning Show. He is the senior reporter for WRBL News 3. Chuck, there was a lot of talk in the initial phases, and it kind of, got shadowed by the play once the ball got tossed up and started hitting it around. But a lot of other developments in and around Synovus Park, so it's supposedly restaurants and hotels and apartments. What's the latest on that?
It's moving. There's no question. I've talked to the mayor about it, getting ready to do something on it at some point pretty soon. But there's interest. There is private money interested in developing, for lack of a better term, DJ, a mini battery around Synovus Park, in the parking lot between Synovus Park and the Civic Center. And, I've been calling it, I think I'm going to get overruled, but my name for it's been 9 volt. And I've heard others call it the AA battery. So it's going to get something catchy, but I think there is some outside money. There's certainly some inside Columbus money that's interested. And, the number I keep hearing is $350 million. That's a lot of money.
Yes, it is.
But not as much as a new jail is going to cost. That's a whole nother story. But, the thing about it, DJ, is if they come up with this investment, I think they can create a bookend to downtown that will, a southern bookend that will be really, really interesting. One of the things I noticed, and I live in the historic district, I drove my golf cart to games all season. One of the things I noticed is there were people staying at our downtown hotels that were walking down Broadway to the ball game. I mean, not hundreds of thousands, but I mean, literally you would see small groups that would be parking downtown and walking. So they've created this avenue, for lack of a better word, to get to the ballpark. It's pretty cool. And, one thing I want to talk about before we go in another direction is the people it brought. I made a friend this season, somebody that I would have never, ever come into my circle. Guy's name is Eladio Exposito. You may have heard the name. His son is EJ Exposito, who played every position in the infield for the Clingstones this year. Eladio is a truck driver in Brooklyn. He's a dad. He's just a straight up, a New York dad ain't no different, DJ, from a Georgia dad. He was proud of his kid. He spent 9 games in Columbus watching EJ play. Got to see EJ hit a grand slam. But he was sitting up near us in 205 in that area. Eladio and I became buddies. We would text during the games. As a matter of fact, EJ even sent a little video through me back to him near the end of the season because he finally listened to his dad and used a bat his dad had been telling him to use for weeks, and he hit a home run with it. But that's the kind of thing, DJ, that to me, here I am, I'm 65 years old, meeting people like this, having them come to my neighborhood has improved my quality of life just by them coming into my world, our world. And, Eladio Exposito is a great guy. Great guy. I mean, and DJ, you've seen athletes' fathers your whole career. Most of them just want the best for their boy or their girl. That's it. And, and we got one of those guys who literally came into our world and became a friend. So I don't know. I mean, that sounds crazy, I know, but that's just, that's one of my carryaways from this season is Eladio Exposito.
Chuck, let's advance it a little bit. With the great season that we just had, and obviously the $50 million that you mentioned that the city spent, what are some of the other mixed use kinds of events that could come on? Because again, it's over now. The Clingstones are going to be packing all this stuff up, and the stadium will still be there. And again, it won't open until after spring training, I guess, for baseball. We have some high school events, but what are some of the other mixed use events that could be used at that venue that you think that could be profitable and be interesting for the city?
Several, DJ, and you say the stadium will still be there. No question. They'll do the improvements to the stadium. But more importantly, Pete Lavin and his staff will still be there. He's got a full-time staff that will be selling advertising, selling season tickets, selling group sales, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So you want to use that talent. And there, it's, Maddie, Kobe, all those guys, there's real talent on that staff. His staff was outstanding. From all the way around, staff was outstanding. I think they take that staff now. Concerts are the obvious choice. But you know what I'd like to see, DJ? I'd like to see a SEC Sun Belt Challenge baseball event one weekend down there before when college starts early and pros aren't playing yet. Think of what you could do if you brought in Auburn and Georgia, and you had Georgia playing Troy, and you had Auburn playing Georgia Southern. That would engage, and obviously you're not going to get a non-sanctioned, or you're not going to get a Georgia-Auburn game. But if you brought in something like that, or you brought in Alabama to play Georgia Southern or Georgia State, or Mercer even though they're not Sunbelt. But, there are things you can do with this. Obviously, the Georgia High School Association and the independent associations, they've landed on this. They figured out it's a heck of a venue. So you will see some of that without question in my mind. What do you think, DJ? What are some of the things you and Thrift think ought to be down there?
Well, personally, again, I really hadn't thought about it. Chuck, other than the fact that I asked you. And again, concerts are the easiest thing, but at the same time, that, whatever you're going to be doing down there, you have to be considerate of the grass and the amount of monies that have been spent on preserving and keeping that going. So, but
yeah,
I don't know. Thrift, what do you think?
I mean, I'll tell you this, Chuck. During right now, the fall season, and then heading into winter, I mean, what kind of events could you really host? But early on, before the actual first game in April, high school baseball is in its finest, especially when it comes to non-region games in February. I know Tim Fanning, he hosts a Border Wars. It's going to have every single school from Georgia and Alabama right here in our area playing against each other. That needs to be showcased at a stadium like that. The kids should have an opportunity. You don't have to wait till state championship. If you're from this area, you should be able to play on that field at least once this year. So I would utilize February and March as big months to allow high schools to come and showcase, get fans in there, and maybe bring another community that we may not have touched this year if you're the Clingstones.
I think you're right, Thrift, and those memories will last a lifetime for those kids. The last home game, I went with my high school coach, Wendell Barr. He was a star athlete at Central of Phoenix City, played at Columbus College when it was a JUCO, played at Huntington, and he's in the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame with you, DJ. And Coach Barr and I were sitting there watching this game, and he lives in Montgomery now, and he actually is an usher for the Biscuits.
Wow.
But Coach Barr is 80 years old. We're sitting there watching it, and Coach Barr is talking about when he was at Central High School in the early 60s and played on that field. Here's a guy who's 80 years old, who remembers taking swings at Golden Park. And that speaks directly to what Thrift is talking about. Those kids that get that chance to play on that field will remember it, and they'll tell their kids and they'll tell their grandkids about it when they bring them to the park.
Absolutely. Chuck, I tell you, man, time flies when you're having a good time. But this is what I'd like for you to do. I'd like for you to, we got a couple of minutes here, and I'd like for you to direct your comments, your last comments towards the fans, the organization, but whoever, but just on your appreciation of the Clingstones and what they did for the folks here in Columbus.
DJ, you know this. Sports is the ultimate. I guess politics is clear number 1A, 1B, and 1A. What have you done for me lately?
Right.
And, these guys did a lot this year. I think I haven't talked to anybody who said it didn't exceed their expectations. And so they have set a high bar. Pete and his folks have set a very high bar. They will probably do events during the off season to keep kind of the interest going. You know, they certainly have a scoreboard in their office without question, because the season ticket sales and the ad sales and the group sales and stuff like that will be what they're measuring against. And they actually have a park and a home to sell from this off season, which they didn't last year. And I think, you know, it's going to be interesting to watch. It's going to be very interesting to watch what our city council, and let's just don't sugarcoat it. 4 of our city councilors did not think baseball was a good idea.
Right.
And they have, at least initially, and I'll give them all the grace in the world, they've initially been proven to be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now, do they make sure that the city gets a good deal, but that this development gets a fair shake? This South Commons redevelopment gets a fair shake. There's a lot of political pressure on it. And, you know, I'm looking at things very differently now, DJ Thrift. I mean, very differently. I mean, I'm near the end of my career. I think my retirement, a lot of those nights are going to be spent in Synovus Park, Pinnacle Park, whatever it is, you know, and I take friends, and, you know, I took Kenny Davis, longtime district attorney over in Russell County. Kenny's a friend of mine, and he's the biggest Auburn fan I know, one of them. And he's kind of as he's gotten older, he's pulled away from going to a lot of live events. And I texted him one night. I had an extra ticket on a Friday morning. I texted him. I said, no excuses. You're going with me tonight. And he used to be a season ticket holder for the Red Sticks. And Kenny got in there, and about 7th inning, he goes, man, this is a lot better than sitting at home on the couch watching TV. And, you know, and I think a lot of people, once they got down there, now my experience is a little different, because I take a golf cart and I park right behind Brian Thomas in the van. that was my designated parking spot this season. But yeah, they've got a chance to build on this in a way that we don't know where it goes. I mean, look at their group sales. Those two foul lines, they've got the ability to put a lot of people down there in group sales. I mean, I saw an 800-person group from one of the hospitals. You know, there were a lot of 125 groups. There were Little League teams there all season, DJ. And, you know, and the kids were catching foul ball. Players were great. Players threw away hundreds of baseballs over the course of the season, gave away bats. I mean, you know, we had to get together. Last thing I'll leave you with, we had to get together at our house, and the last Saturday of the last homestand. And Fuzzy and his handlers came over, and Grace, I got to watch a little college football in my patio with Fuzzy. But we got a tray of food from Adam Zabrowski's parents. They sat in 205 when they were here. They heard what we were doing, that we were having to get together, and they just wanted to thank the folks in 205 for cheering for their boy. And they sent us a plate of Cinemaholic stuff. Oh man, it was good. But you know, they've started to build a community, DJ. They really have. And that community is those of us that are inside of it, and those of us and those that are not from inside of this community. And DJ, if you know anything about Columbus, and you know everything, you are as Columbus centric as it comes. Columbus can be fickle, but once that community starts, if you feed that community will grow. I mean, take your community at Carver. I mean, the community that supports Carver Athletics and Carver High School in this city is an incredibly powerful community that will do anything to try to ensure the success of those kids. And I will tell you this, DJ, what little I've seen, Carver must be a pretty good football team this year.
No doubt about it.
Absolutely, my friend. Hey, man, listen, you are the unofficial ambassador for the Columbus Clinkstones. And, of course, we are the flagship station. So I just wanted to take it out. You know, I wanted to have a little session with you, and I appreciate everything that you've done. You really brought a lot of other wonderful things to light, and we always appreciate you.
Well, love you, DJ. Y'all have a great week, man. Knock it out of the park.
Chuck, by the way, Ricky Rogers says, Chuck, the mayor of Section 205, baby.
Hey, Thrift, that's an accomplishment because the real mayor is in 205.
All right.
Thanks, Chuck.
Hey, have a great rest of your morning, my friend.
See you, brother.
All right. That's Chuck Williams.
I love him, man.
I enjoyed that, man.
I do too.
I envisioned doing something like that, and I'm glad we were able to pull it off.
No doubt.
All right, let's go ahead and take a short break. You're watching Facebook Live, and you're listening to WLTC HD2. Sports Visions 921. This is the Sports Visions Morning Show.
Doing the buck in the latest drop. I got stopped by a lady cop. She got me thinking I could date a cop.
Stay tuned. More local and national sports coverage next on the Sports Visions Morning Show. Sports Visions 92.1.
Good Monday morning. I'm Rex Castillo. Here's a look at your morning headlines. While National Guard deployments have caused controversy and conflict in different parts of the country, some residents in Memphis, Tennessee are supporting the military presence. Ravonda Ligon's son was shot and killed 3 months ago, and she says if the Guard can minimize crime, then it's worth it. But Shelby County Mayor Lee Harris is asking Tennessee Governor Bill Lee to reconsider the deployment. Advocates are calling for newborn safety devices or baby boxes to allow for anonymity when surrendering a newborn to be added to Georgia's Safe Place for Newborns Act. Right now in Georgia, babies up to 30 days old can be left with staff at hospitals, police, or fire stations. No questions asked, but this has to be done in person. The FBI is warning Georgians of an uptick in gift card scams. Investigators say scammers are posing as utility company workers, government agents, or even tech support workers to pressure you into making payments with gift cards. The FBI says look for red flags like being asked to share your gift card number or PIN, being urged to take immediate action, or being asked to make a payment with gift cards in the first place. From WRBL News 3, I'm Rex Castillo. Have a great rest of your day.
Good Monday morning. We are off to a mostly clear start this morning while those temperatures remain pleasant in the 60s. And that dry stretch continues today with afternoon highs near 90 under mostly clear skies. Tonight, pleasant and clear, those lows falling into the mid 60s. And we continue to track seasonal readings. And yes, that dry weather pattern continuing through the week with no measurable rainfall expected. And those temperatures remain steady near 90 through most of the week.
Lori's Furniture Express, your express way to save.
Fall is right around the corner, and the weather is going to be perfect for gathering outside with family and friends. And now is the perfect time for you to pay a visit to Gory's luxurious outdoor patio. Their outdoor furniture is beautiful and made to last season after season. Sofas, love seats, and even outdoor recliners. And that's only at Gory's Furniture, Alabama Highway 169 in Opelika.
Would you like to sponsor Sports Visions Radio? Call 706-327-1217 to find out how. That's 706-327-1217.
It's time to get out, get moving, and join me, Lori Lee, at the Walk to End Alzheimer's Columbus on Friday, October 3rd at Uptown Columbus. Join the movement at georgiawalk.org.
Attorney advertising, Georgia. Attorney 770 Good Law Car Accident Lawyers. Paid after dramatization. Top dog does not mean we are the best. No guarantees of success.
I have a couple questions I need a couple answers to. If you wanted a dog for protection, what type of dog are you going to go and get? Are you going to get an aggressive dog or not so aggressive dog? Are you going to go get a big dog or a little dog? I need answers. If you needed help, what you want your dog to do? You want him to sit there and run away? Or you want your dog to go and bite? Like bite somebody, like real bad. If you was in a fight, what a little dog gonna do for you? Bite their ankles? You know what somebody could do to that little dog? They can kick him. They can beat him. You want a big dog. You want top dog. Top dog, law dog. You want the dog that's gonna bite dog. That's top dog, law dog. Any accident, top dog law.
Carbon monoxide is a colorless, odorless gas that can be fatal. Don't use anything indoors that burns fuel, such as gasoline-powered generators, camp stoves and lanterns, or charcoal grills. Opening doors and windows or using fans isn't enough. Have your vents and chimneys checked to make sure water heater and gas furnace exhausts aren't blocked. If you feel sick, dizzy, or weak while using a generator, get to fresh air right away. From the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I like a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Covering local and national sports. This is the Sports Visions Morning Show on Sports Visions 92.1. Drafted by the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Green Bay Packers. Here's DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Good Monday morning and welcome back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Big shout out to Chuck Williams, senior reporter with WRBL News 3. And of course, I value Chuck's opinions, and I know that the community does as well. That's why I wanted to bring him on. And he's such a tremendous minor league baseball fan, a Columbus Clingstones fan. And, you know, he not only incorporated it into his work, but, that's his leisure. He and his wife, season ticket holders. It doesn't speak any bigger than that when you talk about being in support, being an ambassador for the Clingstones.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. And I was impressed for sure to see how they were able to take on what's a tough task. People working against them, it seems like sometimes, and yet they blew everyone's expectations out like Chuck talked about.
Coming up at the 8 o'clock hour, Tony Reese from WTVM. Of course, Tony is the sports director over there. He and Drew Pavon bring the best of sports from the Channel 9, but we'll have an opportunity to kick it and talk a little bit football with him. But right now, Thrift, let's bring it back home. The Auburn Tigers had I guess you could call it another JV game. South Alabama, they were able to knock them off and beat them pretty good. It didn't just kill them, but they had a 31-15 victory. Was that to your satisfaction?
No, but you sometimes have games like this, and it's a 12 o'clock noon kickoff. Those games are always hard to get up for. It seems like for the fans, for the players, the coaches. Wasn't impressed. You did win, though, by 16. But you're going on the road to a hostile top 10 environment with John Mateer, Brent Venables, and Oklahoma. So I didn't learn anything other than they better start playing better before they go to Oklahoma. They could get blown out.
Well, again, undefeated right now, and I know you have to be happy. I know most Auburn fans are right now. Because just a few weeks back, man, you guys were dog cussing Hugh Freeze, and now that climate has changed.
Well, when you beat Baylor and you go on the road to beat a good Baylor team and you won the last two, you're 3-0. I think this team has a chance to win 8-9 games.
You're saying it now.
I believe the talent was there. Do I believe in Hugh Freeze? And so far, he has proved me wrong, but we'll find out more. We'll really learn about them because the next 2 weeks, they got number 11 Oklahoma this Saturday, and then at number 10, Texas A&M the next Saturday, who just beat Notre Dame. So they got two top 10 teams on the road. We'll know if Auburn's a contender after these next 2 weeks. I'm not saying they got to win both of them, but if you're a contender, you got to at least, I would say, win one of the two.
How big of a deal is this for Jackson Arnold? Because didn't he play it at Oklahoma?
It's supposedly going to be a revenge game. It's 3:30. I hope he doesn't put too much pressure on him because normally in those situations, the quarterback comes out, plays like a dud, and ends up losing the game. So don't want Jackson putting and losing his confidence because if things start going bad soon or early, can he overcome it? And if you're telling me it's against his former team and the pressure's on him, I don't know if he'll be able to do that.
Not only is it his former team, but Mateer is I guess he's the leading guy for the Heisman Trophy right now as it stands here 3-4 weeks into the season. Mateer has been sensational, and Auburn will be tested.
Yeah, Auburn will be tested, and looking forward to seeing how they face up against a Mateer quarterback from Washington State, still one of the favorites to win the Heisman. And Oklahoma's looked really good through the first 2 weeks, including a win over Michigan last Saturday So can't wait to see Auburn and Oklahoma. It's going to be a lot of fun, 3:30 on Saturday.
Alabama was able to knock off Wisconsin Badgers 38-14. And I know that, again, that's another area, another place that is shifting. The mood swing, again, just a couple of weeks ago was – and, again, some people still think that, the board needs to go. But I think that it's starting to settle down a little bit when they realistically know that nothing's going to happen right now. And, again, the team is showing promise. And there is a football season to play, and to focus on the job at hand as opposed to something that they can't control. I think Bama fans realize they need to get behind their football team.
Yeah, I think they do too, DJ. And I think Bama fans realize they still got something special, and maybe that Florida State loss wasn't as bad as it seemed that first week. I mean, they dominated Wisconsin. They got a bye, and then they got the biggest game of the season so far coming up in 2 weeks in Athens. So Bama still has everything in front of them. I know they got off to the rocky start, but I wouldn't count Bama out just yet, man.
And for those folks that counted Ryan Williams out, of course, he was the young wide receiver over there with all the promise. He made you think twice because he showed flashes of brilliance. He was just fantastic. Again, a 65-yard play, another 70-plus yard play. This kid is for real.
Yeah, it is for real, man. And it's I think this guy's going to be absolutely sensational, man. So cannot wait to see how his career plays out.
And what can you say about the Georgia Bulldogs? Kirby Smart. My resting words are I trust Kirby. And again, regardless of, and that's wow. I've just, in the 8, 9 years, 10 years that this 10 years on the job, what he's been able to accomplish has been just absolutely extraordinary. So, as with and I have my own understanding and knowledge of the game, and but here's a guy that he doesn't do it like everybody else wants you to do it. Obviously, some people think, including myself, that you need a game changer. You would need to have a game, a guy that's just box office at the quarterback position. But Kirby apparently, in all of his choices in his 10 years, doesn't agree with that. And he has a national championship and several SEC championships to, of course, back that up. And now with Gunnar Stockton being probably one of the more talented and closer to that type of quarterback, as we're finding out, as far as the dual threat. And it was highway robbery. There's no way in the world. Josh Heupel needed. I don't know what was he thinking, man. I don't know. I know you were calling the game, but the last he had about at 50 seconds, at 40 seconds, he could have kicked the field goal and ended the game, but he wanted to get the clock all the way down for whatever, running an extra play, risking life and limb, and of course eventually losing the ball game. But I don't get it. I don't understand why he needed to get all the way down to the to the end of the game before he decided to kick.
Yeah, I don't either, DJ. And if you're Heupel and you're Tennessee, you're sick. This was it.
Oh, yeah.
This was your opportunity.
Yeah.
Georgia is the shell of them. They're not what they used to be in the previous couple of years. You were up by 2 touchdowns twice in this game. There's no way you lose this, DJ. 0% chance you should lose this game if you're Tennessee and you're trying to be a contender. At home, you got all the momentum. Aguilar's playing great. I still think Tennessee is going to win 9 or 10 games this year because if you look at their schedule, they got winnable ones coming up. But, man, you haven't beat Georgia since 2016. This was your best opportunity, and you choked it away. And I'm with you. I would never second-guess Georgia or Kirby Smart, and I think this team's only going to get better. This team's going to be, by the time the end of the season, one of the top teams. If you're going to get them, you better get them early. And unlucky for Alabama, Georgia's on a bye this week, so they get to kind of shore up some things and welcome in the Crimson Tide in 2 weeks.
Well, again, back to the Vols and back to Heupel. This is a situation, and I've been around the game a long time. This is a kind of game, and again, there's a lot of football left, don't get me wrong. But to have this game as big as it was, to have the whole world looking at you, having Georgia on the ropes and with an opportunity to knock them out. I don't know if it's going to be an adverse effect or if it's going to be negative or what, but sometimes games like that have a bad spin on your program because, again, you had it right within your reach. I mean, you could taste it, and you still figured out a way to let it, let it slip between your hands. And again, over 100,000 fans there at the game, and of course, another, multi-million-dollar viewing audience on television. Man, what a letdown. I mean, that would have been huge for Tennessee.
It would have been, in that 5-yard penalty, which Many people say, stuff like that doesn't matter. Oh, it does. That 5-yard penalty right before the end of the field goal kick at the end of the game, I think had an effect on it, DJ. I really do. And if it is so frustrating, you got to think if you're Josh Heupel, it's like end of game execution's got to be flawless. And if it was, they'd have been closer to the hash, middle of the field. They'd have been probably 10 yards closer without the penalties, and they probably would have nailed the kick. But because of the penalty and then being offset, he just kicked it wide to the right, and it kind of carried. And then he hits one in overtime. That's the bad part. It's like we didn't even need an overtime. They gave up the touchdown. That's the one that they needed kicked back at the end of the regulation. But if you're Tennessee, I don't know if you're going to have another opportunity like this in a couple of years, because I think Georgia's only going to get better. This was supposed to be a down year for them, and you still lose.
Got to be excited about the tempo in which Tennessee came out, but Georgia came right back down the field and of course, did their thing. But, man, I tell you what, a lot of energy, a lot of excitement, and I tell you, I haven't been that excited the first part of the season in a long, long time. But big win for the Dogs. Went in there, took it. Got out of there, going to have an opportunity to lick their wounds and heal during their off week, and before they entertain Alabama coming back in. I think that Alabama will, with the way they throw the ball and the way we were exposed to in Knoxville, really is going to be some work done here over these next couple of weeks on the back end. Because again, it wasn't a matter of being out of position or busting coverages. These guys just didn't make the play. I mean, guys was right there in position, but they were outplayed. They got mossed. They got whatever you want to call it when the offensive receiver went up to make the catch when the defensive player was in great position.
Yeah, it was definitely being mossed, man. And I want to tell you this. Gunnar Stockton's a baller, man.
Yeah.
This guy knows how to play football. Stop questioning him. I think you've got to start putting him in that Stetson Bennett. When you go to Knoxville and you hang toe-to-toe and ball out the way he did, you got a guy that can win you football games and you can win a national championship with. So if I'm a Georgia fan, the biggest thing I felt good about was I got someone that can go and score 40 points if I need to. Because before coming into that game, especially after Austin Peay, if you told me Tennessee scoring 40, I'm saying they're beating Georgia, and not after it, because Gunnar Stockton proved and that offense proved. And how about the big playmaking ability? The receivers, like you may mention, were great. They were able to run the football. Kirby Smart, he just knows how to win, man. The guy knows how to win. And there's no question about it. And I can't wait for that Alabama game coming up in a week.
Absolutely. And I don't want to do this quickly because I'll wait till we come back. Because Georgia Tech, man, they handled their business at home in Atlanta, Georgia, knocking off Clemson. And, of course, Dabo Swinney had his hands in his hands. 0-2 right now?
1-2, yeah.
1-2?
Yeah.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Unreal.
All right, we're going to go ahead and take a short break. We'll be right back. You're watching Facebook Live, and you're listening to WLTC HD2, Sports Visions 921. This is the Sports Visions Morning Show.
Hey, it's Dan Patrick. Thanks for making us your home for local, regional, national sports talk in the Chattahoochee Valley. This is Sports Visions 92.1.
Attorney advertising. Georgia. Attorney 770 Good Law Car Accident Lawyers. Paid after dramatization. Top dog does not mean we are the best. No guarantees of success.
I have a couple questions I need a couple answers to. If you wanted a dog for protection, what type of dog are you going to go and get? Are you going to get an aggressive dog or not so aggressive dog? Are you going to go get a big dog or a little dog? I need answers. If you needed help, what you want your dog to do? You want him to sit there and run away? Or you want your dog to go and bite somebody, like real bad? If you was in a fight, what a little dog gonna do for you? Bite their ankles? You know what somebody can do to that little dog? They can kick him. They can beat him. You want a big dog. You want top dog, law dog. You want the dog that's gonna bite dog. That's top dog, law dog. Any accident, top dog law.
I'm Matt Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Your car steering wheel could be a ticking time bomb. At least 24 people have died and many more injured because their airbags fired shrapnel at them upon inflating. Tens of millions of cars have been recalled. If you suffered cuts that required stitches, hearing or vision loss, or broken bones, please contact us today. you could be owed money for medical bills and other damages.
Morgan & Morgan. Visit us at badairbags.com for an office near you. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-924-7415. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-924-7415. 800-924-7415. 800-924-7415.
If it's local, it's on the Sports Visions Morning Show with former Georgia Bulldog DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Welcome back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. It's a great day to be a great day. Hey, man, all of our teams won. Auburn won. Alabama won. Georgia won. And Georgia Tech, man. Brent Key, stand up. Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Rambling Wreck from Georgia Tech, man. They entertained
Rambling Wreck.
Clemson. Dabo Swinney's Clemson Tigers came in, man, and got their butts kicked.
Unbelievable, man. What a game by Haynes King and Brent Key. Georgia Tech's here. They're a contender. Big win. Can't wait to talk to Chad Bishop this week, DJ, because I think they are, between them, Florida State and Miami, they're the favorites to win an AC championship and maybe make a playoff. And if you look at their schedule, they don't play Miami. They don't play Florida State this year. They avoid both of them. They could be undefeated when they take on the Georgia Bulldogs. How big of a game would that be, man?
Well, that's a long time from now. That's usually the last game of the season in November around Thanksgiving. So that's a lot of football left before then. However, right now we're just going to enjoy the fact that the Yellow Jackets are playing good ball. And we got a kid out of Northside High School that's, he's a big part of that, Malachi Holsey.
Malachi.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he was sensational against, again, he's a number 2 behind Justice Haynes, but this guy's really good running back that I think is going to get his time here in the next year or so. But he gets touches. He's averaging close to 50 yards on the ground a game, and was impressed with him against Clemson.
0-2 for the Clemson Tigers, man, or at least 1-2. Again, 2 victory or 2 losses for this in the early goings here for Dabo Swinney, man. And I know a year or so ago, there were a lot of folks there that were calling for his head at Clemson because he didn't take too kindly to the portal or even, for that matter, the transfer portal or the NIL. But you know what? I think that he has kind of conformed somewhat. But again, losing to Georgia Tech here most recently, Dabo has to get it together sooner than later. Again, those folks, those cat calls will come back out, and those folks will be calling for his head.
Jamal Haynes is the running back that Malachi's behind him. Malachi had about 20 yards on the ground and had about 10 yards to the air. Didn't get as many touches as he has the previous 2 games, but still a focal point in the offense. As far as Clemson, yeah, you're right, DJ. They are now 1-2 on the season. Obviously, the 2 losses are to an undefeated Georgia Tech and then the number 3 team in the country, LSU. They're not terrible losses, but Clemson is not supposed to be mediocre or a 9 or 10 win team. They're supposed to be winning a national championship. They do have Florida State left on the season and out South Carolina. They don't have Miami. I still think this team could win out and go 10-2, have 1 loss, and make the playoff. So remember, 12 teams make it. I'm not going to count out Dabo Swinney. They made it last year with 3 losses. But this team is just not what they were 6 years ago. From that run of 2015 to 2020 of making the playoffs, one of the top 3 teams in the country, dominating. They're not that anymore. They're a top 20 program. They're a program that can win 9 or 10 games. They're what they were before they went on that run. And I think Clemson fans just got to accept the fact you had your glory years already. Now accept that Dabo is just going to be a good team that has a chance to make the playoffs, but national championships, I think they're a thing in the past now, man.
Thing of the past, I tell you, man. It's college football is shaping up right nicely, again, with some wonderful action going on. But I think what's really the overwhelming factor for us and why we're so upbeat, and I think because we do have so many of our teams that are winning here and winning early, because again, if you got and we collectively as SEC fans, and no matter whether you cheer for Auburn, Alabama, or Georgia, but we still pull for one another when we're not playing, as long as we're not playing each other. And the fact that everybody is off to a decent start here in the early goings, I think that has a lot to do with winning, and that's always a good thing.
It is a good thing. And by the way, if you go by the AP poll, DJ, 13 of the 16 schools are ranked in the top 29. Okay. Now, I know you're like 29, it's the top 25. Yes. But others receiving votes: South Carolina, Mississippi State. South Carolina dropped from number 11 after they got dominated by Vandy. And then Mississippi State, they beat Arizona State. They're undefeated. I think they should be ranked right now. They beat Arizona State, who was ranked in the top 25. But 11 teams in the top 25, including Vanderbilt, Missouri, Auburn, of course, all the other top teams that you're accustomed to seeing. But I was really impressed with Vanderbilt, man, to take South Carolina to the woodshed, like they did at South Carolina. I know Lenore Sellers got hurt, but they have dominated all three teams they faced off against. The Charlotte, Virginia Tech, and then beat South Carolina 31-7. They got Georgia State and Utah State coming up next. If they win both of those, they'll be undefeated when they go to Alabama October the 4th. How about Vanderbilt? Here's the problem, though. After starting 5-0, they got Alabama, LSU, Missouri, Texas, Auburn, and finished with Tennessee. So they got 6 ranked games to finish out the season. But I got to give credit to Clark Lee. He has turned Vanderbilt into a team that you're scared of, that on any given Saturday you could get beat by them. Credit him for building that.
Shout out to Diego Pavia, huh?
Yeah, he was great, man. I hate it for Lenore Sellers because I think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the country. But Pavia had 2 touchdowns and interception. He also had 50 rushing yards. And Lenore Sellers, remember, he was 6 of 7, 94 yards and interception. And then he also had about 20 yards rushing before he got hurt, and Luke Doty had to come in. And once they lost Lenore's, that was it for South Carolina.
Do we know if Sellers is going to be out for a while?
I still have not saw any news out for how long he could potentially be, but that if so, this could be this was supposed to be a year South Carolina could make the playoffs, and now you're talking about, are they even going to make a bowl game with Lenore Sellers being injured right now? So I'll look that up right now, DJ.
All right. While you're looking it up, I want to go ahead and shout out the Falcons, man. Of course, we're able to go on the road on Sunday night, prime time. They had the whole world looking at them on NBC last night, and they were able to knock off the Minnesota Vikings up in Minneapolis, and they had a kicker, John Parker. Was it Promo or Novo or some Romo? Yeah, that's him. 5 for 5, of course, and again, on display, Bijan Robinson, all 153 yards he had on the ground. And, again, this kid is really, really doing doing a great job of showing all of his talents that he is named, although we want the Falcons to win, but Bijan is definitely being mentioned, not just amongst media folks. He's being mentioned amongst some of the top players in the game as one of the top players in the game.
And as he should, man. Bijan was sensational. He basically won the game for the Falcons last night, DJ. And I want to say also, Lenore Sellers, he had a head injury. It was a concussion. So we assume he may be back, but he's going through protocol. But once he went out, it was 14-7. DJ, there was no coming back from that. So a tough time for South Carolina, but I'm with you on the Falcons. Big win. They needed it. Sunday Night Football, and see if that can catapult them to some successful next couple weeks.
Don't go anywhere. Tony Reese from WTVM will be here next in just a little bit. You're watching Facebook Live, and you're listening to WLTC HD2 Sports Visions 921. We are your hometown sports guys.
And I gave you my all. Now, baby, be mine. I'm not always there.
This is the Sports Visions Morning Show.
Let's do this.
Sports Visions 92.1.
Do you have a car sitting around you want to get rid of? Then here's a great idea. Donate your car and help veterans and their families. Yes, one fast call to the Veteran Car Donation Program and we'll come and remove your car for free. fast, free towing, and 24-hour response. You can donate most cars, trucks, or SUVs in most conditions. The proceeds raised goes to help active military, veterans, and their families, and you get a tax deduction. All you need to do is make this free call. Get rid of that old car and help the vets. We make it easy. Make this free call now and book your fast and easy pickup. Call the Veteran Donation Program now. Donate your car and help veterans and their families. Operators are standing by. Here's the number.
800-890-7021. 800-890-7021. 800-890-7021. That's 800-890-7021.
J. Smith Lanier and Company is now Marsh & McLennan Agency. We remain a full-service insurance, retirement, and risk management firm specializing in employee benefits, commercial insurance, surety, and personal insurance. It's our business to be there for you in the moments that matter, as we have for over 150 years, protecting what and who matters most. Marsh & McLennan Agency is one of the largest insurance brokerages in the United States, offering high-touch service by trusted local insurance specialists. Located in Brookstone Center Office Park and online at marshmma.com.
I'm always on the go. But with the Kinetic Credit Union app, Kinetic is always with me. The Kinetic mobile app is virtual banking at its best. With the Kinetic mobile app, I can easily send and receive money, make a deposit, pay some bills, and I can even open up a new account, all from my phone. And I can monitor all my accounts in one place, all on the go. The Kinetic mobile app, energized banking at its best.
Kinetic Credit Union, the energy for your dreams.
Do you hear that? Asthma triggers are everywhere, from dust mites, pet dander, and pollen, to smog and smoke. An asthma attack can strike anywhere, anytime. Be prepared with quick-acting Primatene Mist. Clinically proven to open airways quickly. It's the #1 FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. Primatene Mist. Breathe easy again. Use as directed.
WLTC HD2 Casita and W221DP Columbus. You're listening to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Sports Visions 92.1. Your home for the Dan Patrick Show, 9 to 12 on Sports Visions 92.1. Now back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Here's former Green Bay Packer DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Good Monday morning and welcome everybody to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Welcome back, that is. Of course, just a great day to be a great day. Hey, listen, Thrift, is that your song or what?
Listen, I love this song. I'm a dog, I'm a mud. Let me tell you who's a dog, man. Michael Penix and those Falcons. I love the win last night.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, look, let's go ahead and bring him up because he has been working his behind.
He's another dog too, baby. That's a mutt right there.
Absolutely. I see him over there, Bob, and he like that song.
Man, that's why I love it. I love that one.
Yes, sir. Hey, welcome to the Sports Visions Morning Show, man. We appreciate you. We have with us, of course, Tony Reese, sports director at WTVM. And I know you had an action-packed weekend starting from Thursday all the way through the weekend, of course, including last night, watching the Falcons become victorious over the Minnesota Vikings on NBC.
Fellas, I couldn't agree with you more, man. It's always a pleasure to be here with y'all. Man, you talk about it. Last week was a jam-packed week. I think going into Saturday, I want to go into that Georgia Tech Clemson game, man.
Yeah.
Ooh, boy. That's my first storm of the field experience, and, man, my body feeling it all the way to this Monday. I promise you that.
Good deal. Speaking of which, obviously, did you get a chance to talk to our homeboy up there, Malachi? I know that things were going fast here and there, but with the success that Georgia Tech is having, and to know that we have a Northside Patriot, former Northside Patriot on the team, it makes me feel good to come. That he's going to be factoring in more and more as the season grows on. Tony, are you there? Can you hear me, buddy?
Yes, sir. I can hear you now.
All right.
Briefly, so yes, sir.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I was just talking about the Northside Patriots running back Malachi Holsey, who is a part of that Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket. It's fine that Georgia Tech is winning, but it's even better that the fact that we have a hometown kid that we're going to be following as well.
No doubt about it, man. We talk about it. He was Malachi got into several plays up there. He's behind Jamal Haynes. He's explosive. He always has been, going back to his north side days. We also had the opportunity to see TJ Parker, the central standout as well. He was on defense. He was on quite a few tackles for the play there. Man, that both teams bring a lot of tenacity. Haynes King, if he's not on your Heisman watch list, I promise you might want to start checking him out. That man is something serious. Country boy, straight through and through, gets it done in the trenches, likes to run it. I think he ran for over 100 plus, threw for over 200 plus. Dude was just phenomenal across the board. I just can't explain until watching it in person. That's my first Georgia Tech experience as well, being up close and personal when Bobby died. That stadium by far, too. It's a little different. You always compare the SEC to ACC. It gives an SEC feel. It's definitely a smaller impact than you get to the Bamas, the Georgias, the Auburns, the Floridas. You know what I'm saying? But for its community, its experience, it's definitely something to witness if you have yet to do it.
Tony, you're a multi-talented guy, by the way, and if y'all didn't know, he's also a play-by-play, not only just a sports that's everywhere. He does play-by-play, man. Did a great job on Thursday. How about the Green Waves? Everybody wrote them off for dead. Yeah, Coach Kegler's a shell of himself. They're done, and they come out and shellac Manchester. Talk about the Green Waves, and then I do want you to shout out your cohort. I cannot think of that young man's name.
Josiah Berry. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, we started out Spencer Manchester. Both teams coming in, gritty teams. The record's not showing exactly what they have this season, but both coming out full power. But shout out to Coach Keg and his guys, man, from Elijah Fudge to Amari Couch. There was so many guys there that were making plays. CJ Starr, if you don't know that boy name, best believe you need to look him up. Kid is a phenomenal kid on defense, and then he was even able to do it on offense as well. And, man, me and Josiah had so much fun calling that game because it was just so back and forth. And then eventually Manchester strikes first. Then Spencer just runs away with it. And it's just, man, for that first win of the season, I'm glad I had the opportunity to call that one.
Tony, who decides how many more games, or if you got who's decide if you're going to call any games?
It's a business decision. We talk amongst William McClain, sports director, news director, correction, and we talk about we already have some already labeled out. Like our next one will probably be Columbus Shaw in about another week or so. Depending on how schedules line up, I want to give all our guys opportunities. So if it's not going to be just myself or Josiah, of course, I'll bring in Drew Pavon, and we also have Mackenzie Collins. And, we have a little assortment of people who will be filling in over time. So, we try to divvy it up just so it doesn't get repetitive because you always like to give new fresh faces because, not only are we doing that, I got the podcast at 9 Yards Deep, and we got normal Friday operations, then also with Saturday operations. So try to make sure we don't spread ourselves too thin.
You doggone said something there. You mentioned the podcast, and I definitely got to go there. Got to talk about how's it going.
Man, no doubt about it. It's been a good one. Myself, Drew Pavon, and of course the guru and Jeremy Hayes. Y'all know Jeremy, man. That man is being a host at times. Him coming through, and we just talk about anything and everything from AP Top 25. I'm sure we'll be doing another podcast episode come tomorrow, so be sure to look out for that one. A lot of shakeup this week, not surprised there. We mentioned going back to that Georgia Tech Clemson game. Clemson was 12. Georgia Tech had yet to be ranked, but now they're 3-0 in the season. And I see now in the latest AP poll, they put them at 18. I think that's very justified because this team, Brent Key, if y'all ain't never met Brent Key either, that guy by far is one of the coolest coaches, man. He came out rapping to Jeezy on the sideline. I got a clip of that. Dude was just hype. Hat to the back. Then towards the end of the press conference, man, just the Go Jackets. He's just hype about everything. Emotional tears. But he's just like, yeah, nobody expected that, did they? You know what I'm saying? Like, I like the tenacity from him. We heard earlier, he said he wanted to play Georgia at Piedmont Park. I believe it. Them guys are coming this year. I'm telling you. Tech is different. Tech is real different.
Yeah, big shout out to, of course, Brent Keys. They have definitely got the Ramblin' Wreck up and definitely playing very, very well. The Auburn Tigers, I was messing with Thrift a little earlier. Hugh Freeze, you could have poured the baby out with the bath wash a few weeks back, but now everybody's starting to be, and they should be, focused and aim and in the right direction. And it looks like Auburn's going to be the team that we wanted them to be, to win 9-10 games and possibly bring the respectability back to the Auburn Tigers football.
It's very interesting to say, DJ. I definitely think so. Ironically, it's funny that they're the only undefeated team out of our Auburn, Alabama, and Georgia. But, Georgia, of course, is there. They can't close now. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that one, too, because I'm in Tech, and I'm watching that score go down. I'm like, oh, my God, this thing going to go the distance, ain't it? But definitely, man, I think Hugh Freeze, this has been a year. Bringing in Jackson Arnold, I'm really liking what I'm seeing out of him so far. And then now he's starting to get our guys involved, like local talent, Cam Coleman, as well as just the run game that they have is phenomenal. Even Omar Maps that I'm hearing now from Auburn is getting a lot of reps in. So things you loving to see. Now, of course, they haven't played any type of conference games just yet. That's coming up in a couple of weeks. So I'm definitely curious to see how that translates into conference play compared to non-region play or non-conference play. But I think there's a lot of positives there. I think, they brought up all whites, similar to Georgia Tech. They did the same thing. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I think it's going to be an exciting season, man. You just got to get 6 wins to get bowl eligible, first and foremost. That's the first goal you want to worry about. And then, of course, the CFP playoffs is definitely what your biggest goal there. But got to short steps.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And I'm excited to see Auburn going to get battle tested against a top team in Oklahoma this Saturday. You talked about Georgia. Tennessee, this was the year they were supposed to beat them, man. You got a quarterback you don't know much about. They look bad against Austin Peay. You're up 21-7. You look like there is no chance. You're just going light year speed and offensively warp speed, and yet you still find a way to lose this game. I feel bad for the Tennessee fans, but on the flip side for Georgia, I don't think there's anyone questioning Gunnar Stockton anymore, Tony.
100%, Thrift. I think we talk about it early on. Kirby, by far, you never can bet. He's the new second. You can't bet against Kirby. Everybody knows this. Even when he looks down, he's never down. And Gunnar has been his guy now for several games, and he's even talked highly of how Gunnar is composed in these situations. He's also been around. So this is not all brand new. I don't know what I'm doing in these situations. No, guy can get the ball. Landon Humphreys coming up big in those big top plays when you needed them the most. I was curious to know why, Zachariah Branch didn't get a long ball on a couple of them. Like I said, watching from a distance, I couldn't really tell you exactly how it was all going down. But I know, once again, the Georgia Bulldogs of Georgia, they are the standard in the SEC, and not only in the SEC, but in college football. So it doesn't surprise you that they are battle tested quite often. And of course, everybody wants to try to knock them off as one of the top dogs in the conference. So to see that happen firsthand, and just to see starting off with a good conference win there, this is first of many we'll see out of the Georgia Bulldogs this season. Promise you that.
I don't know how many times you guys have had the opportunity to see that Humphreys, that pass that he caught.
That's unreal, man.
He did. You talk about drop.
Right, in the basket.
Dropping it in the bucket. They have those garbage cans in the corners of the end zone and near the pylons. That was perfectly executed the way it's supposed to have been. And again, you won't see a finer catch or throw than that one. And again, that'll make the highlight reel. It should make the highlight reels. And I wouldn't be surprised late into the season. But wonderful job. But again, for the life of me, and I was sharing with Thrift earlier today, Josh Heupel, I don't know why, but with 40, 30, 20 seconds left on the clock, what was wrong with kicking the ball? I mean, why do you have to go all the way down to the last few minutes of the last few seconds of the game when you could have already taken the lead and taken the stress off of your team? Were you on to that game? Did you think?
I kind of tapped in, like I said, on the back end. I was driving back from Tech, so I know I was tuning in, and all of a sudden I saw it went to overtime, and I was lost there. I was like, how did that happen?
Right.
I'm trying to keep up with it. But you say that, and it puts me back in the mind of that Tech game where it's like, all right, this game literally finna go into overtime as well. You're wondering what they're trying to do there, and then all of a sudden, Haynes King runs it down, and then Aiden Bird, that guy comes out, and he does that spectacular. He wound up tying the school record with 55 yards out. And they said they run that turbo NASCAR routine. So maybe in his head, that's what he was trying to think about. But at the same time, you just lose track of time. Rather, when you think you got enough time and you really don't. And then it's either it's a prayer at that point. You're hoping it goes up and hoping it goes in, but then it might get shanked to the left or the right. Before you know it, you're like, oh, man, I probably wasted my opportunity there. So I ain't no telling.
All right, Tony. You got a jersey on right now.
Hey, man, I was watching this game last night, and I was telling
Tony, come on now.
I think Youngwood Coup days may be numbered.
As it should be. Romo kicked 5 of them. But I want you to talk about Michael Penix, man. Because I honestly think we have someone for the next 10 years that we potentially go win a championship with, man. There's something different about him, Tony. I can't put my finger on it yet. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to find out what he is. But he reminds me like a Jalen Hurts, just so calm under pressure. There's just something about him that I think the Falcons lucked into and Terry Fontenot, man.
I couldn't agree with you more, Thrift. Watching Definitely watching Penix in action, man. The guy looks composed, even in those moments where they look like they were almost down. I mean, they led most of the game at that. So you talk about just the whole close. Yeah, it was a lot of field goals. You would love to see more passes. I know he had Drake London on one pass, and Drake winds up dropping it. It's kind of tough situations there where you're depending on your receivers, but, sometimes they fall through. I think both games we got to see two quarterbacks a little experience a little bit was questionable at times. I know J.J. McCarthy just coming off, he just had a baby, so he tries to come back to the game. But defense, you got to shout out the Atlanta defense first and foremost.
No doubt.
Jalen Walkers to the James Pierce Jr.'s, and then of course the Leonard Floyd. Like these guys were going nuts last night. Billy Bowman had an interception. I'm talking about all over the field. They really kept the Falcons in that game just on different ways. Penix definitely brings a lot of tenacity to it. Raheem Morris, you've seen what he can do. Definitely was one of those wins you're just grateful to get up out of there with. Towards the end, Tyler Algier being able to score there, things in between. But, man, that defense by far I think is going to be the biggest factor for Atlanta this season. Now at 1-1 going into next week, I think it's going to be an exciting time.
Tony, let's pivot just a little bit because obviously minor league baseball as we know it this season has come to a halt. Last night was the Columbus Clingstones' final game. They played down in Pensacola, got beat pretty bad, but the experience that they left behind here during the season with all the great homestands and all the wonderful opportunities that they have for the fans to come down and become a part of this new minor league baseball experience at Synovus Park. Again, it's one for the ages, man. And I just wanted to kind of get your kind of a recap of the season. I think that even though we love the fact that, they had an opportunity to go down to the wire as far as competing for postseason play. The fact of the matter is that even though they did not make it, it still was a successful season in my mind.
I can't agree with you more, DJ. What Pete and company have done over there, man, Synovus Park by far has been a premier venue all season long. I know we've been in there many a games. Thrift, you had the opportunity to call GIAA games there. It's been an exciting time to see, man. Definitely the Clingstones. Everybody was questioning, going back to way back in the last summer, the names of what's a Clingstone? What we're going to talk about there? Things like that. But now everybody's like, Ghost Stones. There's so many fan groups out there, and there's so many, I can't tell you, I got at least 2-3 jerseys, a couple hats, man. I'm bought all in. It's an exciting time. We talk about the Braves, they were a bit of excitement for the Braves organization this summer because there was different days, or just this season as a whole, watching them, several of our guys being able to get the opportunity to get called up and watching that evolution of watching from the 2A to the AAA all the way up to the majors. So looking forward to next year, man. I think definitely by far they captured the whole season. The first inaugural was phenomenal. Can't wait for the next.
Tony, I know it's early in the morning. It's your off day. So what do you got planned for the day?
Man, I got a couple things on the books. I'm off, but we're never off at that point. Got to make sure a lot of housekeeping done internal. Make sure a lot of stuff is already assigned out for the week. So I'll be busy back and forth. Try to get a little sleep in here and there, and make the best of the day.
You better do that honey-do list now. I'm going to call you live. You better do it now.
Yeah, come on now.
And before you get out of here, let everybody know where they can find you on social media and when they can find you on that podcast.
Yes, sir. As y'all see that on the screen, Tony Reese TV over on X, Tony Reese WTVM on Facebook. Be sure to follow our Facebook page, WTVM Newsleader 9. You can find me 6, 7, 10:30, 11, most Tuesdays through Fridays. Of course, on Saturdays, we do our college football Saturdays. Myself and Sportsvisions 9, Drew Pavine. Be sure to tap in there. Always a pleasure to talk with you, gentlemen. Thank y'all for having me.
Thanks, Tony, have a great rest of your morning, my friend.
Y'all too.
All right. We're going to go ahead and take a break. You're watching Facebook Live, and you're listening to WLTC HD2 Sports Visions 921. This is the Sports Visions Morning Show.
Don't blame it on the sunshine. I don't blame it on the moonlight. I don't blame it on the good times.
If it's local, it's on the Sports Visions Morning Show with former Georgia Bulldog DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Good Monday morning. I'm Rex Castillo. Here's a look at your morning headlines. While National Guard deployments have caused controversy and conflict in different parts of the country, some residents in Memphis, Tennessee are supporting the military presence. Ravonda Ligon's son was shot and killed 3 months ago, and she says if the Guard can minimize crime, then it's worth it. But Shelby County Mayor Lee Harris is asking Tennessee Governor Bill Lee to reconsider the deployment. Advocates are calling for newborn safety devices or baby boxes to allow for anonymity when surrendering a newborn to be added to Georgia's Safe Place for Newborns Act. Right now in Georgia, babies up to 30 days old can be left with staff at hospitals, police, or fire stations no questions asked, but this has to be done in person. The FBI is warning Georgians of an uptick in gift card scams. Investigators say scammers are posing as utility company workers, government agents, or even tech support workers to pressure you into making payments with gift cards. The FBI says look for red flags like being asked to share your gift card number or PIN, being urged to take immediate action, or being asked to make a payment with gift cards in the first place. From WRBL News 3, I'm Rex Castillo. Have a great rest of your day.
Good Monday morning. We are off to a mostly clear start this morning while those temperatures remain pleasant in the 60s. And that dry stretch continues today with afternoon highs near 90 under mostly clear skies. Tonight, pleasant and clear, those lows falling into the mid 60s. And we continue to track seasonal readings. And yes, that dry weather pattern continuing through the week with no measurable rainfall expected. And those temperatures remain steady near 90 through most of the week.
Hey there, fellow travelers. It's me, the Hotel Whiz. Before you go anywhere, call me day or night for hotel rates too low to publish. I'll save you up to 75% on over 500,000 hotels across the globe. You see, I've already done the research, so you don't have to spend time online trying to find the best deal. That's up to 75% off. Just call me, the Hotel Whiz. It's a free call, and you get instant access to rates too low to publish with no cancellation fees.
Make a free call now and save up to 75% off your hotel rooms the next time you're going somewhere for business or pleasure. Call the Hotel Whiz now and get instant access to rates too low to publish.
800-710-3739. 800-710-3739. 800-710-3739. Call the Hotel Whiz right now at 800-710-3739.
Lori's Furniture Express, your express way to save.
Fall is right around the corner, and the weather is going to be perfect for gathering outside with family and friends. And now is the perfect time for you to pay a visit to Gory's luxurious outdoor patio. Their outdoor furniture is beautiful and made to last season after season. Sofas, love seats, and even outdoor recliners. And that's only at Gory's Furniture, Alabama Highway 169 in Opelika.
Attorney advertising, Georgia. Attorney 770 Good Law Car Accident Lawyers. Paid after dramatization. Top dog does not mean we are the best. No guarantees of success.
I have a couple questions I need a couple answers to. If you wanted a dog for protection, what type of dog are you going to go and get? Are you going to get an aggressive dog or not so aggressive dog? Are you going to go get a big dog or a little dog? I need answers. If you needed help, what you want your dog to do? You want him to sit there and run away? Or you want your dog to go and bite somebody, like real bad? If you was in a fight, what a little dog gonna do for you? Bite their ankles? You know what somebody can do to that little dog? They can kick him. They can beat him. You want a big dog. You want top dog, law dog. You want the dog that's gonna bite dog. That's top dog, law dog. Any accident, top dog law.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
You're listening to the Sportsvisions Morning Show, brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services and the Finley Firm. Now back to DJ and Thrift on Sportsvisions 92.1.
Yeah. Welcome back to the Sportsvisions Morning Show. DJ Jones, Thrift Barringer, Richard Holdridge. Big shout out to him. He's off to do daddy duties this morning. Man, I tell you what, we've been having just a tremendous show today. Of course, we have the likes of Garrison Hurst, who is one of the greatest running backs to don the University of Georgia Bulldogs football uniform. And, of course, he was a very, very great NFL running back as well, but had an opportunity to hear from him this morning. Chuck Williams, senior reporter from WRBL News 3. He was home with us to, of course, as the ambassador, the unofficial ambassador for the Columbus Clingstones, I don't think that there's anybody more noteworthy to talk to than Chuck Williams about the Columbus Clingstones experience, Thrift, because again, here's a guy that he's covered him. Yeah, he's part of his job, but he's also a season ticket holder and a very prominent ticket holder in section 205. And that seems to be a very prominent section in the stadium with a lot of different types of people. But he is of course, as our guy Ricky says, he's the unofficial or the official mayor of section 205.
Yeah, he is, man. And Chuck's this legendary longtime journalist around here understands baseball better than anyone, understands sports and why it matters here better than anyone. And he understood that this it was a lot of expectation and pressure on Pete Lavin and that staff to be successful. And I think they not only were successful, they blew it out of the water. That's the most impressive part, as Chuck made and alluded to. So I can't wait for next year, man. I cannot believe that the season already ended. It went by in a flash.
Absolutely. And again, making mention of the fact that just because the season has shut down, and trying to think about, no, the stadium is not going to go dark. But that is now the home of the administrative staff for Pete Lavin, who was the general manager, and his Clingstones administration. And so last year, with the tremendous job that they were able to do without a permanent home office, now with, of course, the Synovus Park being the tremendous facility that it is, and they have it's their home base. Now they can actually sell advertising, they can sell tickets, they can do all the things that they had to do prior to going into Synovus Park. I know they had the operation right there on Broadway, but now again, with the job that they were able to do going into this season without having the opportunity to have a nice, really, really nice office space, that'll be something a little different. But when we were talking about, what could happen in that stadium during the downtown, now that there's no more baseball games, Thrift, you had a brilliant idea when you were talking about the early starts to high school baseball and having the experience for all of those. But right now, what would be from now to the end of the year or through until the first of the spring? What kind of events that could be possible?
I mean, the only thing I could think of is concerts. I don't know, because you don't want what do you want on the field? Because what's the field being used for? There's only a certain amount of things. You want a lot of traffic on the field for a concert. You want to host like a food truck or a festival where people are walking on the field.
Oh, hell no.
You're not wanting that.
No.
So then what are you doing? So what's going to be on the field that people are coming to watch? Because that's where everything would have to be and how the stadium is built. So I don't know. I don't know many other
sports
options.
are going on from now to other than football?
I mean, you're going to play flag football. That's why I'm like, if you don't want people walking on the field, what are you going to have? Flag football going on? Those are the only sports I would think could play there. It's not basketball.
Yeah.
Soccer potentially. But again, is that what you want people playing on that field and that grass out there that Brendan Seaver's taking a lot of time and effort in? I don't see it happening. I really don't. I think logistically, flag would probably be the easiest to do because you don't need that much space. Remember, it's half the field. I don't know if a real football game could happen, but could they host flag football tournament? Maybe, but I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question, D.
Yeah, it is a good question. And it's a question that when I see Pete Lavin again, I would definitely give, because those are people that, and he would say, hey, look, if they don't want it, I can understand it because, again, there was a lot of money spent on that grass and a lot of money spent on that turf for the people that we want to be technical about it. And again, it's Brendan Seaver and his staff has been doing a tremendous job. And for people to go in there and to chop it up with football or soft flag football or whatever other that is meant to be, is something. But again, I'm just asking questions, not making any major statements, just kind of wondering if there are any other ways to, again, monetize that beautiful facility, because obviously the city
utilize
$50 million. And, I know that you're always looking for opportunities to maximize bringing in money.
Yeah. But I would say first and foremost, probably a concert. I mean, kind of like what all the other stadiums do. So I would try to host a concert, get an act there. Problem is the weather going to hold up for it to be outside, and who's going to want to come? Right now, it's not bad. And you're right. Like October, November is not bad, but for the winter months, December and January, when it's cold, what are you doing outside? So I don't think it will be utilized in December and January. For February and March, I would utilize it for the high school sports and high school baseball specifically, maybe even softball. Can a softball, we got softball going on right now, DJ. Now that the clean zones are done, softball season for Georgia teams, their regular season ends coming up near October. So you got a couple weeks, but you're going to plan something that quickly. I don't think that's going to happen.
Let me give a little bit of somewhat of a warning. With the concerts, I know in the Hill, I'm going to let people come out and stand out there on the field. I mean, this would be something that, you would use your grandstands and you would move probably from sitting somewhere around the infield to home plate will be the stage. And, no, so we're not talking about people just kind of perusing around on the grass out there. No, they're just taking advantage of those 2,500, 3,500 seats that are in the grandstands there, of course, that are facing into the outfield. And of course, with the stage that's facing the grandstands. And that's the kind of concert that I can envision.
Yeah. And I can see that too. I just, they're going to utilize it somehow, some way. We need to get somebody on. And maybe not, and we won't have to speculate anymore. They'll give us the straight up answer. What's happening with Synovus Park until next April?
Let's see it. I just got a link here from I just got Jordan, who we agreed that he would be on tomorrow, but he says he needs a link, and I'm just going to text him back right now. And
let him know that he's a day early.
The day early. I appreciate
not
him,
$1 short, though, but a day early.
A day early.
Yeah, but we got a good guest coming up here in just a moment. How about a quick break, DJ, before we have on our next guest?
Let's do that. You're watching Facebook Live, and you're listening to WLTC HD2 Sports Visions 921. We are your hometown sports guys.
Stay tuned. More local and national sports coverage next on the Sports Visions Morning Show. Sports Visions 92.1.
That leaf pile is 100 feet tall. Your dad can't handle this. Not without the right equipment.
Yard work piling up? Gear up for fall with John Deere. Get $750 off select mowers, $2,000 off select Gator UVs, and $3,000 off select compact tractors.
Did I hear your dad got a John Deere? Yep, bad day to be a leaf pile.
Gear up for fall at an authorized John Deere dealer, now through September 30th. Learn more at johndeere.com/gearupforfall.
I'm always on the go. But with the Kinetic Credit Union app, Kinetic is always with me. The Kinetic mobile app is virtual banking at its best. With the Kinetic mobile app, I can easily send and receive money, make a deposit, pay some bills, and I can even open up a new account, all from my phone. And I can monitor all my accounts in one place, all on the go. The Kinetic mobile app, energized banking at its best.
Kinetic Credit Union, the energy for your dreams.
Hey folks, this is Michael Bratton from Bratton Automotive. When you're buying a used vehicle, make sure you buy from a dealer that services the inventory before they sell it. At Bratton Automotive, you can buy with confidence. Not only do we service all of our inventory before we sell it, we offer a warranty on everything we sell. If your credit isn't where it needs to be, that's no problem. We are the bank. We have in-house financing. At Bratton Automotive, everybody leaves with a smile.
It's okay not to be okay. 988 is a big help for families. It was the first time that anybody had asked me my story. Grew up in a family that really didn't believe in mental health. Struggled with mental health off and on as a teenager and silence. You would have never known that there was anything going on. As men, we're supposed to be the ones that can fix anything. But even to fix things, we have to have the right tools.
If you or someone you know needs help, call or text 988.
Catch the Paul Feinbaum Show, 3 to 7 on Sports Visions 92.1. Now back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Here's three-time Georgia Bulldog SEC champion and 1980 national champion, DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Welcome back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. DJ Jones, Thrift Barringer. Big shout out to all of our guests this morning. Tony Reese at WTVM, Chuck Williams with WRBL, and of course, Garrison Hurst. The guy that can tote that thing.
Tote it, and it was excellent for the Georgia Bulldogs.
All right, without further ado, we're going to talk to a guy that happens to know a little bit about the Bulldogs. His name is Buck Belue. You might have heard of him. Buck, welcome to the Sports Visions Morning Show, my friend. How are you? Buck, you there, buddy?
Doing good. How about those Falcons?
How about those Falcons? But I tell you, man, it's incredible. We'll talk about them in just a little bit. However, how about that 1980 National Championship reunion? I apologize that I couldn't make it. My wife had business in Tampa, but I saw that you were there and you saw a lot of our teammates. How was it?
Well, it was awesome. You know, the fellowship doesn't get any better than that, DJ. We missed you. People were asking, where's DJ, man? I think I spent half the night telling everybody you had some things going on out of town. But it was great. We cheered on the dogs, got them a victory, and everybody had a great time. Coach Dooley's wife was there, Barbara, and always look forward to seeing Barbara. She was so awesome with the players on those teams that Coach Dooley coached up. And I'll always appreciate the fact that I think she was trying to nudge Coach Dooley to get me on the field a little bit back in the days. So, a lot of the guys were there, and it was all good time had by all.
All right, who was the singing? Who did we have on the list to sing? Did Frank sing anything, or did we have a special guest?
Well, Frank limits the people that talk, you know, so it was just basically Frank addressing the group. Herschel didn't make it. I think he's trying to get some cabinet post in the Trump administration, so I think he was tied up with that too.
Good deal. Good deal. Hey, man, listen, those Bulldogs went up and pulled one out of the hat, man. They were not supposed to win that game, but hey, look, Kirby and his guys went in and did the damn thing.
Yeah, I'm just convinced that we've got the best coach in college football, bar none. There was no panic on that sideline. I mean, Tennessee came out hot and looked like we were going to have a hard time slowing them down. But we settled in, made some adjustments. Offense got rolling, and turned out to be one of those memorable road wins in the SEC. They just don't get any better than that.
Buck, I'm confused. Was Heupel? Why did it take him so long to kick the doggone field goal? Do you have to run the clock all the way down? I mean, what was wrong with kicking it at 50, 40, 30? I mean,
well, he was probably worried about that kicker missing it. You know, he didn't look real confident over there on the sideline. I'll tell you that. And I tell you what, got a lot of people that everybody seems to be a play caller. You know, it's funny how that is. The plumbers, the insurance salesmen, the corporate executives, everybody knows how to call plays. But tell you what, just impressed with the job Mike Bobo did, especially down the stretch with the game on the line. He dialed up two great plays. The touchdown pass on fourth down, giving your guy a chance to make a play. Gunner just dropped a dime in the end zone on that one to Humphreys, and then turned around. You had to have the 2-point conversion to send it to overtime. And really a great play design there where you had Branch as the outside receiver, motion inside. You know, Tennessee was going to be playing man-to-man, so they got a little rub route going, picked off that cornerback assigned to Branch, and it was an easy pitch and catch on that one. But Mike Bobo just does a tremendous job. And all he does is get criticism. It just really makes me angry that there are all these know-it-alls out there think they know something about designing plays and calling plays. I just want to give Mike Bobo a shout-out for a great job on Saturday. We don't win that game without him dialing up some big-time plays.
I completely agree with you, Buck. I'm so sick of the nonsense out there. And I was thinking in my mind, if I'm Mike Bobo, I'm giving it not to just Tennessee, but some of my fan base too for second guessing me in the first place. And Gunnar Stockton was great, but I got to ask you about those Falcons, Buck. How about the win last night? I asked this question to Tony Reese. I'm going to ask it to you. There's something special with Michael Penix, man. I can't put my finger on it, but we got something with him. What's your mindset on Penix Jr.?
Well, first of all, let me just say the Falcons, they did something right when they passed on J.J. McCarthy with that 8th pick in the first round and took Penix with that pick. They got the pick right. And let me tell you what that's something special about Michael Penix is. Michael Penix is a guy that processes information quickly after the snap of the ball. It's chaos out there. And he is processing information so quickly. He is a guy that can maneuver that pocket. He's got a strong arm, a quick release, can make all the throws. He can extend plays when he wants to. This guy is going to be a star in this league, and we're seeing that early on in the process. Just so impressed with Michael. He actually, with the 7 consecutive losing seasons, I've suddenly got faith. I've got some faith back in my Atlanta Falcons. It's been gone since Matt Ryan retired.
Yep.
But it's back with Michael Penix Jr. I know we've got some positions that are thin, and we've got to shore some areas up, and this may not be the year we get to the playoffs. It might be. But I tell you what, we found our franchise quarterback, and I couldn't be more thrilled to turn on that TV and watch him play every week now.
Buck Belue is our guest this morning on the Sports Visions morning show. And Buck, I know we're up against the clock, but I got to ask you this question with regards to Penix. And again, for all the parents and all the coaches and all the football aficionados that are listening out there, it's no strange deal that this Penix kid has can process and do all the things that we're happy about. This kid has played, spent a significant amount of time, developing himself in college. He's played at Indiana. He's played at the University of Washington. He's just not a guy, a 17, 18, 19-year-old guy that came out of high school or to go to college. He's a guy that has spent 5-6 years being seasoned. And he's also had a number of injuries that, prolonged that period.
Well, he's dealt with some adversity, and he's come through the other side. There's some people criticizing the Falcons for taking him. There were some people saying that they didn't like his age going into the draft. I tell you what, I look at that and I think he is far more advanced than most of these other rookie quarterbacks, and you can see it in the way he plays the game. The ball gets out so quick, it's tough to get pressure on him. He is, getting the ball to the right receiver, throwing it accurately. Look, he is he's the next big thing, and we're seeing it blossom right now here in the city of Atlanta. These people are going to end up loving him and what he brings to the table. He's a winner. He can lead because he's passionate about winning, and the other players are gravitating toward that. Look, if you can win at Indiana playing football, you've done something, brother. The Hoosiers he even won with the Hoosiers. So he won me over at Washington. And again, just so thrilled the Falcons reached out and grabbed him with that 8th pick in the first round, in spite of having Cousins, who had his helmet on and his chin strap buckled last night. What was that all about? Did he think he was getting in the game? Come on, man.
That's what we were taught when we were in youth ball. Hey, stay buckled up. You never know when it's your time.
Well, I tell you, Coach Dooley, in my freshman year, I hadn't played in 3 or 4 games, and I had no reason to believe I was going to play against Georgia Tech. We got down 20-0, and Coach Dooley came over and said, "Son, we're going to stick you in there and see what you can do." And I thought 2 things. One was he doesn't have a lot of confidence in what I can do, and 2, where's my helmet?
Good deal. Buck, hey, man, we appreciate you joining us this morning. And look, have a great rest of your morning, my friend.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Thanks,
All
Buck.
right. We go from Buck Belue to a guy whose boots on the ground in Athens, Georgia. He's our guy, Jordan Hill. Jordan, good morning. How are you?
Doing great, guys. Had our first road trip of the season. Glad to get back to town, and I think we got a thing or two to talk out of that.
Absolutely, man. I tell you what, it's nowhere in the hell Georgia was supposed to win that game, but
no chance.
Only Kirby Smart. I trust him, man. Again, he doesn't do everything that I think him. Not that I know it all, but it's amazing. It's amazing. And how about Coach Bobo? Man, give it up for Coach Bobo. Did he dial him up or what?
He did a great job, and I give a lot of credit to the coaching staff and the players. This was a situation where Georgia was in a bad spot, down 8. I think there was like 6:40 left in the fourth quarter, and they went out and made plays. I don't know that I've seen a better 4th down pass than Gunnar Stockton's throw to London Humphreys. Couldn't have put it more on the money. I wrote about this on Sunday. They got a little luck. Tennessee had a chance to walk it off in at the end of regulation, but sometimes you have to make your opponent make a play. And Tennessee didn't, and Georgia capitalized. And it's one of those things. Kirby was asked after the game, when you have special seasons, you kind of have to win a few this way where you walk away and go, maybe we shouldn't have won this. Kirby was very honest, said he felt like Tennessee deserved to win that game. And Kirby said that those kind of tests, he'd prefer they not be that early in the season, but he said he kind of feels like that speaks more to what life is like in the SEC right now. I mean, there is just no daylight between these teams. It takes 60 minutes. It took more than 60 minutes for Georgia and Knoxville, but they got a huge win. And especially going into a bye week, have a chance to clean up some of those issues in that game. And then, next week we're going to be talking about Alabama coming to town.
Gunnar Stockton, though, I think there's no more question in him, but there's definitely no more question in Mike Bobo. The criticism from Mike Bobo has received from Georgia fans has been atrocious over the years. Mike Bobo won that game for you this past weekend. Talk about him and what he's meant to Gunnar Stockton and why this offense is now successful because of his play calling.
Yeah, man, I think they dialed it up when they needed to. I think really the only criticism I think you could make is in that third quarter. They have that very long drive where they go on the ground, they take the lead, and we're all kind of sitting up there thinking they're about to put it on Tennessee. And then I think they leaned a little too heavily on the run the next time they got the ball. But no, I thought Mike called a great game, especially in big situations. I think it was like 3rd and 6 when they hit Zachariah Branch for a screen. Just a great call, especially in the coverage Tennessee was showing. They had 3 guys out wide, 3 defenders out in space, and Georgia did a great job blocking it. The call that led to the Gunnar Stockton London Humphreys touchdown throw. London talked about it after the game. They had practiced for that look, and he said, when we were getting ready to snap it, he said I had a pretty good feeling it was coming my way. And if you go back and watch that play, the receivers, I think it's London and Zachariah Branch, they kind of switched defenders off the jump, and they got the matchup they wanted. There was a freshman DB that Georgia went after for the majority of that game, and that DB is a guy trying to cover London on that play. And, he had pretty good coverage. It just was a phenomenal throw. But I think Mike Bobo deserves a ton of credit. I think he did a fantastic job. And shout out to go back and watch that run, Nate Frazier's run to start Georgia's possession of overtime. Great play, nearly scored a walk-off touchdown on it. Mike Bobo was in his bag. I know some fans are still upset, but, they're going to be upset. They're always going to find something to be upset about. You go up there on the road and score 44, you have plenty of reason to be excited.
Jordan, you have the week off, and then Alabama's coming in. What's the routine going to be?
All right, it's a bye week, but I can tell you I don't have a week off. I'll go ahead and tell you that. I'm still wrapping up a lot of the talk from the Tennessee game. I'm going to have a story later this morning that's discussing the 5 plays that I felt like changed the game. Zoning, really zeroing in on that, breaking down the play, why it worked. Doing that, I'll have a rewatch probably on Tuesday, really going through the entire game and writing about what stood out to me. Basketball season is a little bit less than 2 months away. We're going to have a chance to talk to Mike White today, along with a couple of players. So we'll have some stuff probably later in the week from that. And before probably the end of the week, we're going to start looking at Alabama. It will be a little bit of a different week. We will have interviews on Tuesday right around lunch, but otherwise a kind of scaled back media availability schedule. But there will still be plenty of stories and no vacation here. It'll be a nice break on Saturday, but other than that, there'll be still quite a bit going on.
I'd be remiss if I didn't throw this in. A lot of dogs that made it to the next level in the National Football League. Have you had a chance to see any of the games or follow anybody? Mikael Williams, the Walker kid over with the Falcons, anybody?
I saw Mikael made some plays for the 49ers yesterday. I'm trying to remember some of the other. Watched the Eagles, saw some of Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter in a big win over the Chiefs. And then, last night, on one drive alone, you had Jalen Walker make a sack, the rookie. And a little bit before that, Leonard Floyd, the vet. I think this is like his 10th year, a former dog, making plays. So, it was a good Sunday for those Georgia guys. And, as a Falcons fan, I was, even especially more excited to see Jalen making plays. I think there's more where that came from.
Jordan, I do want to say this, and I want to get your opinion or your thoughts with regards to the facilities. I know that there have been some reports of a new facility being built on campus that was primarily for football and football related. Can you expound a little bit on that to clear up everything?
Yeah, so they have moved the track and field. If you know where the track is on campus, they're building a new one that's actually off South Millage, so not on campus. And they're going to essentially take that space from the former track and renovate it. There's going to be additional practice fields. I think they're going from 1.25 practice fields, what they have right now, to I want to say it's 3.25. Not only adding the practice fields, there's going to be something like 170 parking spaces for the folks at Buttsmere. Having opportunity for staff, coaches, student athletes to have parking in that space. So yeah, they it's kind of a win-win for track and field and for football. Track and field is going to have a new facility that's going to host SEC championships. I think not next year, but I believe the year after that. Going to have a lot of like the state track championships are going to be there once it's finished. I think that's supposed to be done in January, and then more room at the indoor practice facility. I mean, more space in that football practice complex. More opportunity to get guys on different fields and more parking, which if you've ever been on campus at Georgia, any additional parking you can get, you should be grateful for.
I'm glad you clarified that because, again, with the track moving completely, that gives that's going to open up a whole new space. And again, thank goodness that track team is very, very successful, has been for quite some time. They deserve their own facility and a very, very nice one.
Yeah, women's track won the national championship. I think that was back in June, and the men were very good too. So yeah, well deserved. And I think it's going to be big. Really, for the Athens area, you think about the state championships coming in, that'll be hotels and things like that, and then SEC championships. And I don't know if they're ever going to be able to top Oregon. They usually host the NCAAs, but you can at least try to make a case for it down in the South.
Well, Jordan, we certainly appreciate you, man, and I look forward to seeing you week after next in Athens when the Dogs take on the Crimson Tide.
All right, appreciate you guys.
All right. That's Jordan Hield.
Love
Dogs
Jordan.
247.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
He
That's
is.
That's our guy, and glad we were able to talk some Georgia Bulldogs with him.
Man, I tell you, been a great show. I tell
Wow.
you, what started with Garrison Hurst, Chuck Williams, Tony Reese, Buck Belue, and of course, finishing up with our guy, Jordan Hield.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what's going to in store for tomorrow, man. And the Bulldogs got a big win. Bama, Auburn win, Falcons. Good weekend for sports around our region, man.
You any chance that you'll be playing any golf with Hugh Freeze this week?
No, and I think Hugh better not be playing any golf either. He's got a big
so
one.
much for that golf, huh? Maybe
Yeah.
you should need to play more.
Well, Norman, Oklahoma. It's going to be a hostile environment for sure.
Oh, they got it. You guys got that. It ain't gonna be no problems, man. We're back right where we need to be with Georgia, Auburn, and Alabama all being successful.
Well, it's going to be tough because Auburn's got Oklahoma this week, and then a week after Auburn, A&M, Georgia, Bama. So pretty big weekends these next two for Auburn Tigers.
Big weekend indeed. Hey, speaking of week, hey, what Georgia Alabama Sports Live got on the docket for sports this week?
So we got softball. Calvary and Brookstone today. Tomorrow we got Pacelli Brookstone, another number 1 versus number 2 volleyball. This should be a lot of fun. Obviously, all the coaches shows that we do throughout the week. Thursday we got Northside Harris County, a region championship for softball for that. We got Calvary Pacelli. We also got Smith Station flag football as well. And then Friday we got 4 football games, maybe a potentially 5th, but we got Calvary, we got Glenwood, we got Smith Station, and we got Harris County this Friday night on Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
Hey, man, also shout out to all the undefeated teams in the Chattahoochee Valley. Of course, the Columbus Blue Devils, undefeated. The Brookstone Cougars, undefeated. The Carver Tigers, undefeated. Russell County Warriors, undefeated. And your Glenwood Gators, undefeated. And Troup County, undefeated. How many teams is that?
That is so we got quite a few teams. Troop, we got Brookstone, we got Calvary, we also got Carver as well. That's 4 right there that we have undefeated. Columbus High makes 5 that are undefeated. Russell County makes 6 undefeated teams. And so we got
this might be the best start that we've had to the first 3-4 weeks of the season ever.
And Carver and Brookstone are the favorites in their league to win it all. So we could have multiple state championship winning teams as well. So I can't wait for how the rest of the season is going to play out.
Absolutely. Big shout out, Ogo. Again, to Columbus High School, Coach Peters over there, of course, Calvary. Nobody expected these guys. And that's why I'm mentioning them for the second time. Emmanuel Brunson at Calvary. And again, even at Brookstone with Coach Headley. I mean, who thought that if you're being honest, would you have said that Brookstone would be 4-0 with a brand new coach?
I would not, man. And they go to Southwest Georgia, win that, and they're 5 games away from finishing the season undefeated.
Yeah,
DJ, I've been impressed with seeing what the Cougars have done so far, and they got Stratford, who's undefeated, ranked number 2 in the GIAA, and they take on undefeated Calvary at Calvary the next week. So the next 2 weeks on the road, Brookstone, tough, but they've already been battle tested. They've already beaten one previous number 1 at FPD. They beat another number 1 in 3A in Valwood. Brookstones knows what it takes to win, and Coach Headley seems showing why they are the favorite to win it all.
And boy, me trying to protect, Coach Jones over at Carver, man. Boy, I tell you what, I told you to stop pump the brakes. No, he don't need my protection. I was just trying to, just doing what a guy does that, for a little brother. And he says, back off, big brother. I don't need your help.
Right.
Back up. Hey, man, you hear the music? You know what that means. That's going to do it for this edition of the Sports Visions Morning Show. On behalf of Thrift Barringer, I'm DJ Jones, reminding you to keep your eye on the ball.
I find you, I give you all you need. I know what you like. I feel it coming.
You've been listening to the Sports Visions Morning Show with DJ Jones and Thrift